You're now listening to the Something Good Podcast Network. Please press any key to continue.
For a Game Boy? What the shit? $80.
$80
For $2,100, I can get a shitty laud set.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Couch Potato.
$80.
$80.
Jesus,
Alex
Morrison, Jesus Christ! What a shit show, America.
Oh man! As you can tell, we are in good form now. I've had a little bit of coffee in me. We're doing a little bit of a morning episode.
The sun is up.
Oh yeah, but no, what Chris was referring to, kind of continuing down our ongoing series of retro hunting. Let's see, last weekend is when we discussed when we went out and we actually went hunting with Christy and we went to the antique mall. And this time, my whole weekend is all sorts of messed up because you came down a day early. Usually you come down on Saturdays. You came down on Friday this time. And it has completely messed me up because I was just like, oh yeah, well, we don't have anything new to talk about with the retro hunting, so we really didn't find anything yet. Friday, though, that was the fucking day.
What a show.
On both positives and negatives. Like, I had a holy shit wow moment in a positive way, and you had a holy shit wow.
Yeah, it's a bit more negative on my end, but but I did find some gems over the weekend, especially yesterday and Friday. So we're recording this on Sunday. But yeah, we spent the 2 days just running around town, running around to South Carolina, the Palmetto State.
Yeah.
The only thing great about that was the kick-ass Mexican food and cheap gas.
That Mexican food was great.
Other than that, stomping around your own town.
Yeah, that was a little bizarre for me. And side note, if you guys haven't been able to tell through the last few episodes of Fistful of Quarters and Couch Potatoes, I have been fighting a fucking head cold for like the last 2 to 3 weeks. And every time I feel like I'm getting better, something kicks me in and just like starts digging in a little harder. So I think I might finally be on the end of it. So if I hack or I sound a little, I'm sorry guys, you can tune on out if you don't like it. But yeah, it was rather bizarre for me kind of going through the Gaffney Spartanburg area because I had not, we were planning on going all the way down to Spartanburg, but I think just both of us were feeling a little crispy yesterday and a little tired, so we just kind of turn on back.
Yeah, well, like it kind of sucks because one is the weather, one is, we both fucking conked out way too early because my schedule is dog shit.
Yeah.
And like, I just stayed up the whole time because I woke up at like 8 o'clock on a Thursday night and just ran with that with no sleep when I came back here Friday.
Yeah.
And
then on Friday, let's go and talk about that one first before we even go to the Gaffney one. So yeah, on Friday, what areas of town did we go on that one?
We checked out Lexington and Moxville. We went to Love of Retro, and then we went to another little tiny shop in Lexington,
yes,
which is not far from my hometown. But yeah, we drove all the way up. We did on the way up. We did stop at. It was on our way back, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But no, we hit up Moxville. We hit up a little shop we had found online. Not a bad shop, brand new spot. It's only been open for about, let's say, 2 weeks maybe.
Yeah.
We missed their opening day when we went to Monstore.
Yes. In
Salisbury last weekend. But no, it's a great little place. Quite a few gems in there.
Mm-hmm.
Decently priced on a lot of stuff, but there is some, overpriced stuff, which is not a big deal, but I can see where they're coming from on a lot of it. If you're a brand new store, you're going by what eBay maybe prices on stuff. But yeah, you were able to find a couple of things and trade in a couple of things for credit.
Yes. So that's kind of been one of the things I've been doing on the back end is anytime I go to these game shops, I always have like a couple items in my back pocket that I'd be like, well, you interested in buying this or you want to do a trade, store credit, what have you? And One of the two items I've been trying to unload for a minute was a Pokemon Platinum. It's an authentic cartridge, but it just did not have the sticker on it, which makes it a lot harder to sell. And then I've got two Game Boy Advances. I've got my original Silver from back in the day, and I don't even know how I came into contact with like this icy clear one that I had. So I'm just like, I don't give two shits about this thing. I'm going to use this as like just trade fodder. And yeah, over at that first stop we went to, I found two Nintendo 64 games I was interested in. Rogue Squadron and Episode 1 Racer. And then I pulled that out and I was like, well, are you interested in buying any of these? He didn't want the game because he was like, I can't sell it without the sticker. I'm like, I understand. And he gave me 30 for the, or 35 rather, for the Game Boy, which covered those two games, and I had $5 left over. Like, okay, well, let's just see. You got any original Nintendo 64 controllers? And was able to find one where the stick wasn't too bad on it, so picked that up. And then on the way out the door, there was a Game Boy Pocket like carrying case, and I don't know why I even asked how much it was. I wasn't like that interested in picking it up. It was more or less the I had this exact one as a kid and it just got lost in the shuffle. I wonder how much he does want for it. So I asked him, I was like, how much do you want? He's like, oh, is there not a price on it? I was like, no. I said, I'm just more or less, a little curious. He's like, well, I don't know. Make me an offer. That's kind of play coy. I'm just like, I really don't know what these things are worth. I wouldn't want to give you a crazy low ball or nothing. He goes, $10.
Fucking sold.
Yeah, it's like, I was thinking sold, but at the same time, I'm watching this guy and he wants this thing out the door. I don't want it that bad. I can walk away from it. So I just looked down. I was like, yeah, no, I feel you, man. You don't have a price on it. I feel you. It's all good. I do appreciate you. And I just go ahead and grab. He's like, $5. Sold. He goes, you got cash for that? I was like, I don't have $5 cash. He goes, I'll run a card. I was like, you can make it $6. Run it card and make it $6 to cover the fee. So got a fucking Game Boy Pocket case for $6. I genuinely didn't know the price of these. I started looking them up online. They're like $25 and $30. So that was a fun little win on my realm. So yeah, I got the Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, Rogue Squadron, extra Nintendo 64 controller, and that pack. Basically what, for $20?
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So that to me was 100% worth it.
And you sold your Game Boy game online.
Well, yeah, that wound up happening the next morning. I woke up the next day and I sold 2 games on my eBay store, and I'm just like, fuck yes. Unfortunately, it's going to take until Thursday for that money to hit my account, because you don't get paid until it's marked as delivered. Yeah. So it's going to take a minute for that money to hit my account, but still I woke up to the prospect of like, oh shit, I got more money coming my way.
That's,
fuck
that's
yeah.
really good though.
What did you wind up getting from that store?
So I ended up just walking around, just kind of. My goal has been for a while to get a lime green Game Boy Color, because that's the one I used to have before it was stolen. And they had one. I side glanced a little bit. It was $80. Not too bad. eBay would have been like 60, 70. Some of them are a little bit modded too. So I'm just like, and plus I don't really trust eBay, but that's just me. But I put it on the back burner. I was like, I'll come back and look at it. They had the Pokemon games, all the originals in second generation, except for Crystal.
Yes.
For $80 a pop. And I was thinking, let's see, a Game Boy plus 3 Pokemon games.
Oh my god,
is roughly $320. So I'm not. No, thank you.
I was gonna say, if what you need to do for that one, if that's your goal, I know you don't trust eBay. I do. I know how to kind of suss out a listing and feel if I can trust it or not. If you give me a price limit. $80 for the Game Boy and game?
Or just the Game Boy.
Okay, just the okay. If you Venmo me $80, I will get you a pristine Game Boy Color green, because I find them on eBay at that price and lower so often.
But we were able to look around a little bit more, and while you were looking at the 64 games, I was looking at the Super Nintendo games. Yes. And we had talked about this. This is another This is something a coworker says of mine that says to me all the time. He's like, dude, every time you talk about something, you kind of manifest it, and you always say you find it. And I'm just like, that shit's not real. It's not fucking real. All right, I want to manifest $40,000 to pay off all my goddamn debts in one go, but that's not going to happen. Okay?
Exactly.
Unless I find it in a suitcase at an antique mall on top of some expensive ass lawn furniture, but I doubt that's in there. But we had talked to each other about the Super Star Wars games for the Super Nintendo, which are immaculately fucking hard but fun.
Yes.
And I will say this: if you go to this store in Moxville, they will let you check if a game works or not before you buy. They will let you check a product before you buy. They might not have some batteries, so bring you some batteries. But they had a Super Nintendo set up and a little CRT/DVD player, Sylvania, one of those old TVs. And they also had, I believe, a 64 set up.
Yep.
So we were both able to check the items we bought.
Yes.
Which, to me, makes you a better seller than any other place. If you can let me do that, I will buy from you directly, permanently.
And in full transparency, he was really cool about it because both of us
he was on the up and up the whole day.
Well, because both of us ran into issues where we popped in the games and they weren't wanting to really function.
So we sketch.
Yeah. So we just kind of walked up to him and was like, hey, man, we're kind of having some issues with this one. He's like, oh, shit. Okay, let me take a look. Just give it a quick little clean, kind of push some stuff in. He's like, check it out now for me. He's like, is there another on the shelf? I'm like, yeah, there's another on the shelf. I said, but if we can at least get it booted up, I could probably get it where it needs to be. As long as it functions, I'll be okay. And sure as shit, after he gave it that good little clean, walked back over there, popped it in. After the second time of trying to put it in, boom, clicked on, worked perfect, and tested them out both last night and played both for about 30 minutes, and both are running like champs.
But no, I found Super Star Wars and Super Star Wars
Empire
Strikes Back. They didn't have Return of the Jedi, but the next day I found the son of a bitch at Second and Charles.
Yes.
I haven't checked to see if it works because I do not own a Super Nintendo. And that's another buy later on. That's mainly from my dad, but that's another thing. But another one I found, a game I've talked about quite a bit, is Spider-Man and X-Men versus Arcade Revenge.
Yes.
This game is so fucking awesome and hard as shit. And I will say this, you boot this game up, and the first thing I was listening to was the volume.
Yeah.
The kick-ass metal 16-bit track. No video game in the Super Nintendo era comes close to the soundtrack of this fucking game. Unless you're playing the Silver Surfer NES game.
I was going to say, that's always your go-to is the Silver Surfer.
That is metal as fuck. Like, whoever...
Well, since I've got the NES, I actually need to look up that one, see if
I bet it's cheap as fuck, because no one knows what that game is.
Exactly.
But no, we found those games. I was able to get a pretty decent price. There was an issue because there was no price on a lot of things. And I understand what he was doing, because he probably wasn't the guy pricing things. But I was able to find a cool-ass Pet Cemetery Funko for Christy Phillips of History We Forgot. Update on that, guys. We're going to be postponing those shows for a little while. Both of our schedules are a little bit wonky. And not to give it too much information, me and Christy are... She's ending her school career for the summer, so we may get out some stuff in the summertime. So whenever that comes out, it comes out.
Yeah.
Same with Triple C. We're just on a break right now. But on the other end of that, I had asked to look at the lime green Game Boy.
Yeah.
But I was tempted to buy the other one.
The blue one.
The purplish blue one.
Yeah.
The problem I had with this was it was not refurbished at all. This was bought secondhand from them probably. But it was the old your friend's Game Boy who doesn't take care of shit.
Yeah.
It was a little dirty.
There was a lot of hand juice that had been dried.
There was also a lot of like damage to it. The speaker didn't work correctly. I will say, shout out to the guy Dalton who was at the store. He ran games through it, ran batteries through it. He did everything he could to make sure it worked before I even bought it.
Yes.
So shout out to him for the customer service alone. He did a great job.
Because he even noted, he's like, yeah, I'm actually going to set this one aside. You know, I'm glad we noticed this. He goes, I'm going to take this in the back, give it a good clean up.
But that also shows kind of like the situation with Ray was kind of the same thing. It's like there are people running the shop together who probably just like forget to mention some things. So like that was probably bought and put on the shelf, and like no one's gonna really want to buy this, so we'll just leave it on the shelf. And
it looks good. It fills up space right now. We've just opened.
It's like when I talked to Ray at Monstore, was he had a Garbage Pail Kids Kevin Smith, and I was like, Alex would like this. Hey Ray, how much is that? He's like, I didn't even know we had this. And he like picks it up, turns it around, he's like, it's 120. I'm just like, Alex is cool. He's not $120 cool. But
I would agree.
Yeah. But
like I'm one of those people.
If I could find me about 4 Mewtwo's, I bet I could buy that son of a bitch.
Well, I'm sitting here also going like, I'm one of those people where it's like, I know the value of that card. I was aware of that for a minute. If you showed up and handed me that, one, immediately I would have been just like, holy shit, fuck, thank you, gracious. And literally my second question to you would have been, you didn't pay full asking for this, did you? I would be that mix of like, oh my God, and Chris, for the love of God, please tell me you got this on a deal.
For those who don't know, I use gift giving as a sport. So my sister can testify to this more than anybody, because on Father's Day, one year I got my dad a beautiful 6-burner chrome grill with side burner and a double propane storage, and she gave him a grandchild. And I said, that baby can't grill for shit. And so I think I won. So there's that. But gift giving. No,
well, the grill's going to be a lot more useful, at least for the first 5 to 6 years.
Yeah. But my nieces don't even know how to cook. It's fucking ridiculous.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
They're 8 years old. I knew how to cook. I about kicked one out of bed one time, and I was just like, get up, we're learning how to make pancakes.
Well, that's why I said 5 or 6, because by 5 or 6, I was learning how to make my own eggs and shit.
Yeah, but different generation, guys. But no, I was able to find that one Gage and the cat for his pet cemetery there. No, I left out of there with a pretty good deal of stuff, and we both did. I think we did really well. It was one of our better experiences at some of these new places, you know. But we went to another place just offhand in Lexington. The guy had his own little repair setup. He was very, you know, a little disorganized with some stuff, but
I can't say anything. Look around this office, Chris.
But what I thought was, you know, he's very entrepreneurial about what he was doing. He has a lot of side projects set up. He has some stuff stored away for other customers, which, you know, that's what I kind of see as a successful store. If they have like a little cubbies filled with stuff for other customers waiting to come and pick up. And if I wanted a Game Boy that was modded, I'd probably go to him, because he seems like he knows what he's doing with the amount of parts. It looks like it's also a part pick place too. He has a lot of
that's going to be very useful for me later, because I wound up clicking with that guy real fast. I didn't think I was going to like get along with him, because he was kind of giving me that like, why are you in here kind of feel for a second. But then I started like chatting with him, and all of a sudden he was just like, well, here, this is like pulling out like tubs of games he had like behind the counter. He goes, I hadn't gotten these in the system yet, but if you see anything you want in here, just make me an offer. And I'm just like, oh fuck, okay.
And his shop was a lot smaller, but he was formerly affiliated with the one in Moxville.
Yeah.
But I was able to buy basically a large Ziploc bag of D&D figures.
Yes. So explain what that really is, because that part confused me.
All right. So these little D&D figures are part of a set for a game that is D&D-esque. They actually make Marvel characters, DC characters. All franchises have little minis made by this company. It is not a well-known company, though, but it's part of a game set. But this was just all D&D, just master sets and stuff, and I bought it for the bag for like, I think $25, which was a steal. I could probably get you to make detailed photos of these and sell them online, and I'd probably come out $100 out of it if I wanted to.
I mean, I'd do it for you.
Yeah, but that was another thing. Like, you have to sell it in bundles, and the packaging is going to be like a bitch and a half, because they are little mini figurines. But I bought like a little Pokemon lanyard for these buttons I'm getting all the fucking time, because now I'm button collecting. But you were able to walk away with a little gem yourself.
That still fucking blows me away, man. It's like, so as I was chatting with this guy, because I was just like, I said, I'm just really looking for kind of the shit that no one's like, you know, jumping at hardcore. So I want the Game Boy Pockets. The Game Boy Pockets. He goes, well, I got some colors and SPs over here. I'm like, yeah, I know. I said, I'll eventually transition to getting those. I said, but you know, the first thing I'm wanting to get, I said, I want every color Game Boy Pocket. And he was just like, which ones do you have now? I was like, I've got silver on the way, I've got my original red, and I just picked up a cobalt blue. He's like, what, this blue? And picks up one they had like you said, he's got like these bins and stacks of parts and shit. So there was like 3 cardboard boxes stacked on top of each other. He just reaches in the top of one of those boxes and goes, oh, this blue one? And hands me a Game Boy Pocket Ice Blue, which I believe, I don't remember exactly. It was either a Toys R Us exclusive or a Japanese exclusive. I can't remember right.
It might have been both, because they might have just like made a variant for Toys R Us and had the same one overseas.
Yeah.
But like when you showed it to me after you bought it, I noticed that a lot of it isn't damage, it's paint damage.
Yeah.
I think the paint's cheaper than what they actually were like put on the other ones.
It is.
Because like I think that's what causes the smudges and the scratches. But what a fucking find.
Well, yeah. And now I'm sitting here worried because I was just like, because it didn't seem like it was for sale. He's like, oh, what, this one? I was like, oh, wow. I said, no, this is the Ice Blue. I don't have this one yet. He goes, yeah, I picked this up off someone kind of cheap. You know, I'm eventually going to throw like one of those new screens, one of the backlight screens in it, and put one of the rechargeable batteries in it, you know, totally mod this thing up. He's just like, you know, so give me your info, and, you know, I'll reach back out to you after I finish doing all that. This is like, I said, if you want me to be honest with you, man, I said, I kind of want to grab this from you before you do that. I said, I don't want to take away a project from you, but I kind of want to save my boy. I said, I want to kind of keep him original. And he's just like, 40.
Sold. American.
Immediately, I was just like, if you
cash on the barrel, motherfucker.
I was like, if you don't mind me fucking with it for a few minutes, let me play a game on it. Something. He's like, yeah, pick you one out. Here's some batteries. And just fucking walked away, started helping other people.
And I will say, you know, that whole spot, as much as like it is a hole in the wall spot.
Yeah.
But what a cool place. A lot of these places we go to are fucking fantastic. I will say that. We have never went to one that I didn't feel was like not only up and up, except for the last one we went to in South Carolina, which it wasn't because I didn't feel that way. It's just because they didn't have a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
The store was too big for what they had. But it looked like it was going on the uptick.
Yes.
It looks like they were working hard on trying to build their collections up and stuff. But you know,
and aside from selection, the people there were great.
Oh yeah, 6 months from now we could go back. That place probably be filled to the brim with all kinds of shit.
That's what I'm saying.
But they did have a thief running around there.
Oh my god, yeah, we'll get to that.
So that was our Friday. We came back here, just bullshitted around, and the next day, Saturday came up, and we decided to go the other direction. We decided to go south instead of north. But we stopped at a little place, Second and Charles, shop you hadn't been to in a while.
Yeah, we've got a couple Second and Charles here around town. We passed one going to Mikey's, and then there's one kind of on South Boulevard, a little bit ways, kind of down.
Yeah, that's the one we went to, the one towards south of us, going towards South Carolina, and it was my first time being in one. It is very unique.
Yes.
There's not a lot of stores like this. Their selection was massive on a lot of things, but it was very short on others. One thing I found was some of the GameCube games they found, and I didn't buy it. I chose not to buy it. Was another game I bought from the Love It. It was Medal of Honor for the GameCube.
Yes, I forgot about that one.
Full book, full instructions, full GameCube book in there too. Game looked perfect. It was $10. What a fucking steal. Yeah. I may go back and get Rise and Sun because that's the second game in the series. But that's a game me and Mikey had talked about quite a bit. Because Rise and Sun, you open up in Pearl Harbor and it's fucking rough.
Oh, shit.
But that was a cool find because I still have a working GameCube. But no, when Second and Charles, they had a game called Gun, which was Red Dead Redemption before Red Dead. But I was able to find the third game we couldn't find, Super Star Wars Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
It was on the little high side, but nothing I felt like this can complete the collection.
Well, I found it funny because when we finished up with all that, you were looking at your, Star Wars and Empire, and I was like, well, I said, if we can't find Return, I said, we can probably just grab it on eBay pretty cheap. And you looked it up and you're like, huh, well, here's actually all three of them for whatever price it was.
$90.
Yeah. And then when we found Return at Second and Charles, it was when I looked at the price, I did a quick tally. I was like, that's actually only $10 more than the complete collection you could have bought on eBay if you get this one. And I was just like, so even though it's kind of pricey, that actually falls right in line with what you were seeing online getting for the whole collection.
And, it's a good pull. I think I ended up spending $70 for those 3 games altogether.
Yeah.
So, like, I came out cheaper anyway.
I mean, honestly, yeah.
But I got that. Found a fantastic art book for movies and horror, and for only $10. And I'm a big fan of art books. Those I got turned on to those when I was younger. I consider like coffee table books, but they are fantastic. One we found in Nashville when me, you, and Cap had went was The Art of Pulp.
Yes.
Like pulp comics and books and stuff, and I still have that. That's a fascinating fucking book. But no, it's the artwork of old from 1910s to now, 100 years of horror. Art book, and I suggest anybody, if you can find it, get it. Second Charles has another volume of it there. But no, it's a fascinating book.
And that's the reason I was really wanting you to check out Second and Charles, is because they've really dwindled on their game stuff, game selection over the years. They used to have a lot more, but I feel like this kind of been dispersed out in a way out of Charlotte. However, I know how much of a fan of books you are. And that is a place where if you go in with a list of stuff that you're looking for, you will probably find at least 75% of it at like 50% the asking price.
Another thing I found, I didn't buy, I was going to get it for my sister, was a U2's vinyl figure of Carol Baskins with her husband in a chain. And I took a photo of it, and it looks fantastic.
It really is.
And I think they only wanted like $20 for it. And I was just like, man, that's a cool Christmas gift. It might still be there when we go back again. I'm just like, man, that's fucking hilarious.
If it's there when I go back, it was meant to be.
If I got cash on the barrel, I'll buy. But they had a really cool Blacklight Kiss poster there that you had saw. It's Blacklight.
That was the one thing I was just like, ooh.
Oh man, if I was on a t-shirt and we went bowling at night,
oh boy.
Blacklight special night. Second of Charles is really cool. We found some cool Funkos. We had talked about we had been talking about it because since we played Monopoly, Mikey and Courtney making our own little trophy of a Monopoly Funko. We found one. We manifested it. God damn it.
And see, and that's the manifestation, man. You were sitting here going like, man, I hope we find that other fucking Super Star Wars game. And then I'm sitting here going, man. And the PS to my, making shit happen. I love the dude. Got it for $40. It wasn't in perfect condition. There's a little bit of paint wear on it. However, you go on eBay, and I'm looking at ones that are like in worse condition or equal condition for like 70 and 80. So I was just like, thank you, good sir. I will definitely come back and try to make another purchase again since you helped me out on this one. And then, you manifesting the fucking all that shit. We might have a little bit of power here, bud.
Whatever. It's real. It might not be real. I don't know. It's all Fugazi. The economy's going to shit, guys. But no, that was a cool little stop off before we went to Gaffney. Every time I think of Gaffney, I just think of the show House of Cards because it's fucking hilarious. But the giant Peachoy.
Yep.
We missed out on the Mr. Waffle restaurant.
Man, see, all right. So I've driven through Gaffney a few times because you kind of have to go through it to get to Atlanta. But this was the first time we kind of got into Gaffney / Spartanburg kind of through the sticks. And there was a certain spot where I recognized where we were, and I was just like, oh, this is like weird, like not even nostalgia, just like flashback shit. Oh, this is weird. And it was actually kind of fun because for the first time, because I've been up in your neck of the woods so much, and I've heard stories of like, oh, well, that's where I did this, that, and the other. Oh, that's where I did this, that, and blah blah blah. And it was cool for the first time to really be able to be like, oh, Chris, that little hunting store over there used to be a guitar center, and that's where I got my first guitar. That store I got my ass beat in because I was being a fucking tyrant. Oh man, I've literally not been at this outlet mall since like single digit ages, so it was really a trip to like actually step out of the car and in Gaffney. So that was a weird trip for me.
But we stopped at a place called the Yellow Mall.
Yeah. Technically the Gaffney outlets. But no, I said that was one of those little things I told him. I was like, every local is the Yaller Mall.
I will say this: it's a very cool design.
Yeah.
With shops facing the inward courtyard, and it's outside. The only thing I can think of is like if it rains, it's kind of shitty.
Yes.
But other than that, it looks fantastic.
If anyone has been to Myrtle Beach, they have a similar style outlet mall out that way.
The boardwalk. Yeah. That would be the only reason I'd go back to Myrtle Beach is to check out the boardwalk again and ride that rickety ass roller coaster if it's still up there, because I'll ride that before I ride anything at Carowinds. You can take that safety bullshit and shove it up your ass. I want to get on a roller coaster called like the Thunder Crack or some shit, like where you snap your fucking neck. Like that's the only good roller coaster there is. Well, I just remember they took it down because it was unsafe.
Yes.
Pussies.
Well, I was also going to say, have you heard the Theo Vaughn clip with the carny? He had a carny on recently, and they were discussing those kind of safety things, and the guy actually brought up a good point, because Theo was kind of like trying to bait him and get him into talking about all the horrors he's witnessed about, people getting fucked up on rides. And he had one or two stories, but it was all like negligence from the other person that caused it. And Theo kept like trying to push and dig to get him to talk about how unsafe the rides are. And I think he finally caught on, and he was just like, the surprising thing is your big chain amusement parks have a higher chance of something going wrong than your state fairs do. And he goes, you want to know why? Or say Six Flags or Cedar Fair parks, they get a inspection once every 6 months. The fair rides get an inspection once a week. Yeah. Because they're constantly going to new areas. Every new county has to check it and make sure he goes. Now, what happens on the third and fourth day after the initial inspection, can't really say anything to that. He goes, but however, just under the general umbrella of these rides are inherently unsafe, he goes, they are technically safer than your Carowinds and your Six Flags in that regard. And I get what he's saying. I don't 100% agree, but at the same time, I'm sitting here going, that is a good way to kind of look at it. They are getting inspected a lot more. Now, how good are the inspectors? Yeah. That's also a variable question.
That's a very odd job, too. What do you do for a living? Oh, I inspect carny rides. What? You're a carny ride inspector? Yes. It's very lucrative.
I had my dick sucked by the two-headed chick once. It was a crazy experience.
Second one just watched. But like,
Backsplash is a bitch.
I'm just thinking of that. All I'm thinking is that woman who just got married recently, and that guy from Office Space, two chicks at the same time. What would you do? Two chicks at the same time.
If you won $1 million, what would you do, man?
Man.
Two chicks at the same time, man.
But we went into this gaming store. We had just found is Game Heaven.
So yeah,
something like that. It didn't have a lot. It was a big store with not a lot of stuff. Yeah. So it looks empty. But they did have some cool fan-made stuff in there, like the little music boxes we found. Those were really cool. They played the theme songs of like different shows. They were all laser engraved. Fantastic.
I could tell that they were probably also set up for trading card tournaments like Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, stuff like that.
Yeah,
like
if they had moved some of those islands around, they could put some tables in there, and that would be like a safe area for like an after-school thing or something, or a summertime thing, kind of like R&B games in Statesville is.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm thinking they might kind of transit, because they were always, I was reading some of the signs, and they mentioned like Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon tournaments and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, but they had this one guy there who has a little game. If you name. He gives you 5 chances to name some Street Fighter characters on some trading cards, and if you can name 3 of them out of 5, you get $5 in-store credit.
Chris received a side quest.
What I didn't do was be an ass about it, because I knew every fucking name on those cards. So anything after Street Fighter 2 Turbo, I refused to answer.
Why?
I was curious about how good this guy was, and see if he was actually on the up and up. That's the problem I had. This guy wasn't really part of the store. He had a separate little endeavor going on in that store. Oh, okay. So I just named mainstay characters. So when I saw one, I'm just like, That's Shuri, but I'm not going to fucking say that. I'm just be like, oh man, I don't know, man. I don't know.
You should have just totally just wasted them because I was talking you up and shit. You made me look like an idiot.
But what I wanted to do was, push our show on YouTube, in which I was very grateful that I was able to do that. But no, like I said, fantastic spot. I will say this. We didn't mention it last time, but on our way back from Moxville, we stopped at Crazy Cool Collectibles.
Yes.
And kind of arranged a possible new episode with the owner of the show.
Yes.
Great guy, great businessman, but he showed a lot of interest in coming on, so we may be doing a video with him someday in the future. Maybe some video content coming up on that one. But no, I'm really excited for that. And I picked up a Kevin Smith Funko to finish your little collection.
And I like so fucking appreciate that because it's just like I have like my wall of Funko shit, and it basically is just Kiss and Kevin Smith. That's basically all it is. And it's like I've got that row of Kevin, and like where I had it set up, they go 5 long. I only had 4 Kevins, and I'm just like. I had to put like a Harvey Bullock up on the side next to it. So it's like as soon as I got that one, I'm like, yes, I can have a solid row of Kevins now.
Do you a fucking gif of just Thanos putting the Kevin into the glove?
Yes.
Now it is complete. But no, that's the one he had over there. But I got in a conversation with him about the movie Trading Places because he had 2 of the Trading Places Funkos.
Yeah.
They were a little bit high price, deservedly so. It's a hard movie to find. But I was like, that's why I do $1 bets, everyone, because of that fucking movie.
Yep.
And he just started nerding out with me on that fucking movie. Oh, fuck, yeah.
That's immediately what made me go, I was like, yeah, he would be a great guest. Because it's like, yeah, we want to talk to him about his shop and everything, too. But at the same time, I just want to talk with another nerd about nerd shit, too.
And we did briefly go into the Antique Mall over in Mooresville again, just to step in and out. Now, we went there the tail end of the night.
Yes.
They closed at 6. The music changes at 6. Basically, it's a nice 5 till, and the store, their little DJ decides to play a song, basically saying, "Get the fuck out the store," which I love. I can't remember the day. It's closing time or some shit. It was a country song.
Yeah, it's country. It's not the fucking pop punk. It's closing time.
No, not that.
It's not that.
No, it's an old country song. The night's over.
Yeah,
basically, guys. And I was like, man, that's fucking awesome.
And it had like that traditional like country swing, like that. Bow, bow, bow.
Like 70s country. Yeah.
Man, I say to you.
Yeah. But they flashed the lights about quarter till, and then like 10 or 5 minutes till, like, get the fuck out. But no, that was a cool little end of our weekend. But yeah, that was pretty little. South Carolina is always a neat place because there's always a lot of. It's like North Carolina, but more fun.
Yes.
But North Carolina is a bit more safe. Yeah. So I'll put it that way.
So yeah, if we had not been so burnt out yesterday, both of us were.
Yeah, because I hit up Dante Carter of this fucking guy. And he said, I'm at a Rose Festival. And short of me calling him a queer, well, I didn't message him back.
But yeah, so at some point, we will wind up going back actually to South Carolina when we're not feeling as toasty. Specifically,
I think that would be a good all-day thing.
Yeah,
and maybe a pit stop at Carowinds.
But the reason I say so is you unlocked a huge memory for me.
Core memory unlocked.
Yes, I really did like have one of those, those tunnel vision zooms where it's like the person stays in place, but the background is like shifting. I had one of those because we were at that shop in Gaffney, and we were trying to figure out if we really wanted to dip into Spartanburg or just go ahead and head on back. And you're like, do you know of any of the spots? I was like, well, I know there's like 2 or 3 game spots over there. I said, I'm sure there's probably a comic shop or something too. And you were flipping through and you went, Tangled Web Comics. And as soon as you said that, like, I almost got like semi lightheaded. It's just like, oh, that was my original comic store. Like all those comics you see that are in my Xbox box down there, essentially all of them came from that shop. Like every weekend when we went to South Carolina, every weekend when we went to Spartanburg, rather, when we lived in Gaffney, it was right next to the mall. So I would hound Mom, please, I want to go Tangled Web. No, I'm not spending any more money on those funny books. I just want to go Tangled Web. Fine. Find one comic in there. Ma, it's only $2.99. It's $2.99. Please, please. It's only okay, fine. If it'll make you happy, it will. So it's like I really do want to go back just to see how much it's changed, because I know it's very different now. It has to be.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things I wish we still had in my town. We had an arcade where you could smoke in.
Well, their mall is basically defunct. Thankfully, Tangled Web was across the street from the mall.
But we stopped at Five Below, which is the first time I've ever been in one. Little odd place.
Yeah.
Little ditch.
So I've been to a Five Below. I will personally say this was a bougie Five Below.
Bright and shiny.
Five Below, imagine...
It's like a Dollar General.
A Dollar General, Big Lots.
Or like an old Dollar Tree.
Yeah, that's the Five Belows I've been into. This fucking thing felt like we walked into a shop in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, like a literal boardwalk fucking store. It was massive. It was nice. It's clean. Staff was all right. But we found these little Mario lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were pretty cool as fuck. I bought 2. You got 1. You got a Shy Guy.
Yep.
Cool little thing for $5.
Yeah,
you know?
not mad about it. If it's a light too, and it's like even if I don't ever turn it back on for the light, it's just sitting there like that. It's a good sculpt. It's got good paint. Doesn't look like a piece of shit.
Yeah, I bought 2. I was gonna put them in my niece's room probably. Just like a little light to come on.
Yeah,
but it's a little night light. They look cool as fuck. They did some other niche stuff in there. But no, we finished off there. Went to a Mexican spot that was damn good. That used to be probably in like an American deli diner, 50s diner look.
It was, yeah. That was another weird trip for me too, because when we finished up at the Yaller Mall, we stopped at as you said, the Mexican joint that was like right in that parking lot, and it used to be one of those like 1950s happy days. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. Well, rock. It was one of those like metal, chromy, shiny diners.
So much metal is around it, you forget who your kids are.
There you go. And these guys did nothing to it.
No. It's Americana. All they did was put up some inflatable Modelo beer cans.
Yes.
And some like, it looked like Disney Mexican decorations.
It really
like
did look
birthday
like
party.
Luca.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. And like the menu was fantastic. Everything on there looked
5
good.
pages full of shit.
Oh yeah. We were his amigo.
Yes.
Every time.
And I was asking Chris, I was like, I wonder if he hates that.
I think he does that on his own.
Because he was like, hola amigos, and welcome to the restaurant. Is there anything you would like today? It's just
I think he does
all
that.
right, amigos, anything else for you? I'm like, I wonder, because that just feels like pandering, and it's just, I don't know if like that just kind of is like a knife in him a little bit.
I think that's just him.
Okay.
I think that was just him doing it because none of the other people were doing it. I think he just does that just, and he did great service.
Fantastic.
What added to it though was the soundtrack.
Oh my god, I Shazammed like 8 of these tracks, bro.
They were all kick ass. The music of these places are fucking fantastic.
It was a trip.
If it's an antique place or a fucking Mexican restaurant, these guys are kicking ass. Because when we went to the place in Moxville, that motherfucker was playing new metal the whole fucking time. I'm just like, hell yeah, man, play whatever you want.
And every time we're in Crazy Cool, there's like Slipknot playing or some shit.
He was watching Dumb and Dumber on the TV. But yeah, all these places are fucking awesome. Check out every fucking one of them.
Yeah, and honestly, and every time we've gone out, I can go grab my bag right now. I'm not fucking around. I have brought my microphones and my gimbal every time we go out. I need to start recording this shit a little bit more. It's just unfortunately, again, the last 2 weeks, I'm sitting here like feeling like ass or looking like ass, and I'm like, I don't want to be archived looking like this. But no, so hopefully I'll be feeling better by the time we decide to actually try to go back to Spartanburg and check out those game stores and Tangled Web and give me weird goosebumps walking back into that, because I don't know, that was just so weird. I had not thought about that name in forever, but as soon as you said it, like almost had like that sensory smell. It's like as soon as you said Tangled Web Comics, I could smell like that new paper and ink vibe, and it was bizarre.
Well, yeah, pretty good solid weekend. Next weekend is Memorial Day weekend, so it's probably a little bit more travel.
Okay.
If indeed we do that. If not, it's fine.
Yeah.
There's
There's one thing minimum I'll be doing. I know that at Abari next weekend, or this weekend by the time you're hearing this, they're going to be having a game swap meet. Basically a big old garage yard sale in the parking lot of Abari with a bunch of different vendors and shit. So now that I've sold a few more of those games, by that point the money will be hitting my account. So I'll be going to Bank of America, getting me some leafy green spending money and trying to make me some deals. But enough of that bullshit. I think it's about time we move on over to our news segment. Dang old boom, man. We got some news to talk about this week, boy. Yeah, you wound up finding something that was posted 15 hours ago, or like 8 hours ago, like very recent.
Yeah, King of the Hills, Pamela Alden had recently done an interview for CBR.
And Pamela does the voice of
Peggy.
I thought she did it as Bobby.
Yeah, that's right. Pamela Alden's also in the show Californication.
Got it.
Because she does that voice. She does the Bobby Hill voice in the show, and it's weird as shit. But she recently got on there and spoke about basically the plot line and what they were writing. In the new King of the Hill series, Bobby Hill will be 21 years old and have his own family. He will be a chef at a fusion restaurant in Dallas. So if you know anything about Arlen, Texas is located northeast of Dallas in the fictional town of Arlen. So that's a neat little kind of detail we haven't had.
Yes.
But they are still unsure on the release date, possibly 2025 next year. But yeah, it's kind of just a quick little news update on that.
Well, it was really nice to know that they were kind of still moving forward with it, because when Johnny Hardwick died last year, a part of me kind of went, I wonder if they're even still going to do it. Yeah. Because I was still really working under that. Because again, with how little information we were given, we didn't know what the main plot was going to be. Is it what's happening on Rainy Street all these years later? Are we catching back up with the old gang and, Bobby makes cameos, and shit like that? Or are we following Bobby? Now that I know that we're following Bobby and his story, that actually makes a lot more sense, and a lot more confidence has been built up in me about this series.
A side thing she mentioned was they brought on a lot of younger writers to do the show, so it'll have a little bit more younger aspect, probably of fans who are our age, who watch the show at a younger age, and you're probably more connected more with Bobby than they did with, let's say, like Hank. So I'm really excited for that, try to get their perspective on what Bobby would be.
And that is such a smart move, because one, Mike Judge isn't a dumbass anyway. He has always had his finger on what is genuinely funny and is smart with his way of conveying those jokes. Unfortunately, and not necessarily him, but I've witnessed it with other creatives, where they try to regain that classic humor that they had, but it's more tainted in, oh, I don't understand this current generation, versus making fun of the generation. Whereas I
consider it kind of like what's happened with Jerry Seinfeld lately, this ornery aging comic kind of situation, because like Jerry Seinfeld recently came out and talked about how like everything's too woke, and I'm just like,
he's really hopping on that anti-PC train.
But I'm just like, you've never watched Always Sunny, so maybe you should shut the fuck up, because that show's a lot better than your show ever was.
Millions, light years.
I don't give a fuck. I don't care if anybody on the show who listens to Jerry Seinfeld or watch the show. The show was okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It was better than Friends.
Literally, King of the Hill's first jokes was making fun of the Seinfeld show. Okay, so a show about nothing, man. But that's the problem we have with some aging comics. There are some who just don't give a shit, which is fine with me.
Yeah.
But it's not like comedy's dying, and it's just no, the fuck it's not. You're just not a part of it anymore. You're not in the spotlight anymore. It's no different than like aging athletes talking shit about athletes now who are putting up twice as many numbers as they did, because the skill level got better. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's another problem I have,
So it's like, for instance, if Mike had actually been that kind of, comic that was kind of getting more bitter and wanting to make a statement, he would almost be making Bobby his mirror.
Yeah.
And being like, well, what should a young adult today be doing to rebel against which then really goes against who Bobby was as a kid.
Bobby was a perfect example of what a kid was in that time.
Yes.
And
so getting writers that are potentially like our age and a little older that grew up watching that show, that, as you said, connected with someone like Bobby, is going to help ensure that there's no character assassination.
And plus, we watched what he's done with Beavis and Butthead, and so he's done a great job of integrating them into the zeitgeist that is now. Because
and without sounding like angry boomer humor.
But even there, like, he integrated, instead of music videos, they're watching TikToks and Reels, and those are fucking hilarious.
Crack a box.
But like that right there is so fucking simple. The smartest thing he could do is literally make a YouTube reacts channel with Beavis and Butthead.
It really would be so great.
All you have to do is make 3-minute TikTok or Reels or Instagrams, and that would be it.
Yeah,
and just make it a series. That would be, and then let fans make compilations of their favorite shit without being copyright struck, and like just let it ride.
Yeah, let it ride.
But yeah, that's so like when it comes to the King of the Hill, that's a good little update.
Yes, that made me genuinely happy to hear.
Another shocking update that kind of came out of the woodwork was in the group chat was the return of TOONAMI on Adult Swim.
Oh man,
and
I know Mikey and Christy are very happy about that.
I got a little article here from CBR who kind of let us know TOONAMI Rewind will begin airing on May 31st on Cartoon Network this month, presenting 3 classic anime series over 2-hour time frame to start around the programming block of Sailor Moon at 5 o'clock, Dragon Ball Z Kai, the original Dragon Ball Z, at 5:30, and 6 o'clock Eastern with Naruto.
Shit. So
they are going from first TOONAMI, mid TOONAMI, and late stage TOONAMI. So it's a little bit of everything for everybody.
I wonder, so correct me if I'm wrong, didn't they try doing this like in 2018, 2019?
Yeah, so they brought it back for a little while, but it was more late night.
Yeah.
So you had stuff like Inuyasha, Naruto, and stuff like that. But
God, hearing you pronounce those names makes me realize just how white I am when I try pronouncing them.
But yeah, there was a 5-year explosion with TOONAMI when it first came out, with like Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, stuff like Spirited Away, the movies and stuff like that. So they really did a lot in the beginning. We've talked about it on our anime episode, but we'll probably do another one soon. But this right here is a cool little callback for a lot of older people. Let them know, like, hey, we might be bringing Tom back too, the original guy.
And that's what makes me wonder too, like, what design are they going to pick? Because he went through like 5 or 6 different designs.
Oh yeah, and in 2018 he went to a new design again. So yeah, but I will say there is a send off when it first shut down. That was fucking perfect.
So I'm not a big anime fan. Although, as I mentioned on the last episode, like, for instance, watching Christy get so excited over seeing certain things, I do get enjoyment from seeing other people enjoying something. I could put myself in the place of, like, loving anime and loving TOONAMI. Bro, that outro even made me emotional. I'm just like, damn, fuck you, Adult Swim. It's like...
But along with that, at the tail end of May, South Park has announced its
new next special.
It's next for the end of Obesity, coming out the 24th of May. So a lot of stuff going on in May to kick off the summertime.
Yeah, this one's going to be covering the Ozempic crisis.
I took Ozempic. It's okay.
Did you?
Yeah, because I have pre-diabetes.
Yeah.
But it's just a shot in the fucking stomach. That's it. I don't use it no more. But
yeah, apparently it's kind of a new trend.
It's a weight loss drug.
Yeah, it's essentially all these actors and actresses have been just like pricking themselves with this, and just like the fat has just been like.
It makes you not eat. It makes you not feel hungry. That's all. It's no different than Speed or Adderall. It does the same thing. Like Adderall literally does the same thing. Adderall, Ritalin, the good old fashioned Ritalin. That it doesn't make you eat, but it also makes you not interact with people. But it's just another version of Speed. That's all it is. It's just it's a weight loss drug. It's fascinating, really, because it does have. They don't really know like the long term side effects of use. It's actually just a quick thing to use to get you on track. That's what the drug is for. Yeah. Someone who's taking it, get you on track to where you need to be, and then you just go from there and you just stop taking it.
Wonder what South Park's take on it's going to be.
It's going to be Cartman taking it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the trailer literally starts with the doctor being like, "It is time for you to finally get your obesity under control."
Yeah, fitty.
And another little random piece that came through the woodwork. We've been talking good on the Delta emulator for iOS devices, where you can finally emulate your NES, Super Nintendo, Game Boy, GameCube games, XYZ. Adobe has come out of the woodwork and slapped them with a cease and desist because Delta uses the Delta symbol for their logo, and Adobe is claiming that it is too close to their Delta-looking A logo.
Okay, we'll change the logo.
And they did. Their new logo is just a broken logo, but I'm sitting here going, and I kind of want your opinion on this. Does this mean that Adobe has creative control over the Delta symbol?
It's hard to say. This is a court case that needs to be figured out. This is another example of old people not keeping up with the times.
Yeah.
But when it comes to language and art on how to best, show, script,
yeah,
I have a problem with. Delta's smart by just changing the logo, kind of just making this passe. But it also is kind of the open fodder for Adobe, because Adobe is a script maker. I could see this backfiring on them publicly, because if they go after anyone else, let's say a popular brand, we have a goddamn problem.
Yep.
This is going to be the Monster and the Toronto Raptors situation all over again, where they went after the Toronto Raptors because of their logo.
I remember that.
And Toronto told them to suck an egg.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah.
But I think another part of this was probably pressure from Nintendo. Just like an opening, salvo, just to like, hey, Adobe, can you help us out on this? Maybe we could use you.
Wait, let's just chip away at them.
And and this is going to be another argument against piracy, another argument against ownership of products, which is another bigger conversation we've had before. So it's hard to say.
And even without knowing that conversation, I feel like folks can kind of get a general idea of where we stand on it, considering we've been making it a point to go out and purchase physical hardware and copies of things.
And, there's a thing called degradation when it comes to products, but I have digital copies and physical copies of things, which is fine with me.
And this is also why I'm appreciative over the fact that at a young age, I was very fascinated by electronics and like the way things work. So like, if things ever start degrading too much, I do have the mental capacity to learn how to fix things. So that's something I'm finding very valuable.
But another, speaking of Nintendo, they've pulled out of Twitter.
Yes.
So apparently Twitter was charging between $125,000 and $40,000 a month for API rights of companies.
Okay. So in layman's terms for folks, API using, so essentially what that would mean is Twitter, X, what have you, has their own built-in system, like you were saying, Adobe script writing. Twitter, X has their same thing, so you need to know their inner workings in order to make it compatible with your system, which means on your Switch, you could take a screenshot, take a quick little video clip, and without having to like export it to your computer and then edit it and all that shit, you can do it all within the system and post it directly to your account.
Yeah.
And the only way
seamless.
And the only way you could do that is allowing that base company's use of their API, which used to be only a couple $100, because all it is essentially like a few keys being like, all right, here's your temporary passwords essentially, and put this code in your system so it can read and connect to our servers, and it's just going to post for you. Holy fuck, that is a ridiculous price.
It's almost like someone bought a website and didn't know how it functioned correctly and fired a bunch of people who knew how it worked, and then forgot that he needed them. Who would have thought? My bad.
At least we can trust his trucks.
Yeah, I guess. God, what an ugly fucking vehicle. Goddamn.
Have you seen recently where someone was literally just doing a demo in their driveway? They're like rotating the wheels because it like squeaks when you like rotate because it's like fucking wires moving your fucking tires. It's not like actual suspension and shit.
Yeah, it's a powertrain.
Yeah, so they're like rotating the steering wheel, making like the tires go back and forth. All of a sudden, you hear what sounds like a piano string break.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, his right tire is no longer moving, rotating. He's still rotating it. The left tire is moving, but that right tire is stationary.
Yeah, the power steering probably failed. And I can imagine that's being very simple because, again, he is a billionaire who's trying to make the most expensive thing as cheap as possible and still selling it as the most expensive thing. So yeah, like there's a lot of shortcuts. I've actually been inside a Tesla once, and it looks very cheaply made on the inside, like just the touch of everything. Like, and I'm not talking about like the fact that it has an iPad in the fucking console. I'm talking about like when you touch the cabinets, when you touch like the dash and shit, it moves. And it's just like, I drive a 2019 Rogue. It doesn't do that. like Jesus Christ. But another legal aspect of things, the Federal Trade Commission said non-competes will no longer exist in 2.5 months. So that's a big fucking deal for a lot of Fortune 500 companies because all those non-competes they signed are no longer valid. Mm-hmm. So Coke and Pepsi, get ready to whip it out. Microsoft and Apple, get ready to get your shit kicked in because a lot of your guys are going to be leaving and making their own goddamn shit with hookers and blow and blackjack. But the Federal Trade Commission did this to where they wanted to create more businesses. So what it is, they're projecting 8,500 new businesses a year after. Not saying successful businesses, but businesses none the same. So whenever you add these non-competes, it lets you take the experience you've got from the job you've had and do your own thing with it. Yep. If you feel like the company is no longer valuing you as an employee, which as a workers' rights kind of situation, this is huge. Yeah. And very, very big for the Federal Trade Commission to step in on this. The Federal Trade Commission rarely steps in unless they absolutely fucking have to. Against companies, so just keep that in mind. It's a big win. That is for a lot of specialty workers, people who do like design development, probably a lot of people who used to go to Twitter. Like, honestly, I'm going to say, like, you guys could probably just build a new Twitter, call it Twitters, and like you say, well, actually, or call it X's and O's just to really drop the knife.
Oh, well, see, I'm from like that legality standpoint.
Yeah,
Elon forfeited the name Twitter. He no longer uses the term tweets either. Bro, all they would have to do is just create a new website called Tweets. They could avoid using the Twitter name. And it's just like, yep, we went to Tweet.
Yeah.
And there's still tweets and retweets. It's just now, instead of Twitter, it's just called Tweet. It'd be dumb, but at the same time, I feel that could be possible.
Now, the smartest thing he can do right now is buy OnlyFans.
I think there's a few other smarter things he could do.
But no, like buy the website OnlyFans and
Only X.
Well, no, like it just merges them together because that is nothing. OnlyFans is doing nothing but bringing money in. X is doing nothing but fired motherfuckers and losing business. So, like, if you need a life raft, just go ahead and buy that fucking IP.
Maybe that's just what he needs to do. He just needs to get in the porn industry because he's really good at fucking folks.
Yeah. One last thing, I will say this: Roger Corman, the horror director, passed away last week as of recording this. Fantastic horror guy, one of the best in the business. If you get a chance to look up Roger Corman, just look at the laundry list of cheesy B-list horror movies he made and what he did to the business. Like, it's a huge impact.
What was one of your favorites?
I'd have to look it up because it goes by different names. Well, like some of the movies out the gate was like Mask of the Red Death. He was actually responsible for the original Fantastic Four movie.
Oh,
the missing Fantastic Four movie. So he did Little Shop of Horrors, a lot of like cheesy stuff. He worked on Silence of the Lambs, Death Race 2000, Pit and the Pendulums, stuff like that. Buckets of Blood, a lot of trauma films and stuff like that. So yeah, just check out some of his stuff. It's a great catalog. A lot of it's probably on Shudder or Amazon.
Well, I think we have waxed poetic about all the news that dropped in the last week. Holy shit. That's a lot of shit. And that's not even covering the fact that I am going to be getting one of the Nintendo Championship fucking games that's coming out on the Switch. Because that is going to be amazing Fistful of Quarters content. That's going to be a lot of fun, especially challenging Mikey to some shit. But enough of that bullshit. It's time for us to move into our main topic. Yes, this is the main topic for this episode because in the group chat, okay, let me back up a little bit more. We did record our commentary for Batman Forever. Holy fuck, what an insane movie.
So much fun.
I don't know what the fuck happened, but for the very first time, and it hasn't happened since. I've tested it since. For some reason, that day, my computer was not reading those wireless microphones we have. And that works so much better for watching a movie. That way you're not having to hold anything or sit forward. You can just get comfortable, microphones on you, do it to it. I thought I got it fixed. I did a quick little test record. I tapped the microphone. I saw it coming through on the thing. I'm like, beautiful, beautiful. Let's rock this. I go to play it back, and at first it just sounds like I may have had like the wrong setting turned on, and I'm like, god damn it, this doesn't sound good, but I might be able to make it work. I'm still listening to the whole thing, just seeing if it's even worth releasing, and to peel back behind the curtain, my computer is set up across the room, and we're sitting on the couch. So as I'm like wrapping up the episode, I'm like standing up and walking over to the computer to turn it off. I'm listening back to it, and like as I'm walking closer to the computer, my voice is getting louder, which means it just recorded it from my fucking laptop. So all you can hear is the bass of the TV, and then like us going, oh my god, the entire fucking time. So unfortunately, that audio is completely unlistenable.
Garbage.
It's garbage. It's cabbage.
Garbage.
So we're going to be doing another little review talking about it here, but we are going to try again for Batman and Robin because I do remember that one a little better, and I have to say that's probably the most insane of all of these Batman movies.
That'd be hard to say.
But not to even talk about that yet, we are going to be talking about Batman Forever, and yeah, this was one that I think I've only seen maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
And
I've seen this a billion times.
You said it was your favorite.
My favorite.
Not the best, but your favorite.
But it's my favorite because it's batshit insane. The dialogue is just fucking terrible.
The intro. Holy crap. I just that suit up scene.
I will say this. Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey looked like they had a fucking ball making these goddamn movies, or this movie in particular. The villains having so much fun making this is hilarious.
If I remember correctly, I could be wrong. If I remember correctly, Tommy Lee Jones has come out later and been like, I could not stand Jim Carrey.
No one can stand Jim Carrey. People hate this motherfucker. Like, they legitimately hate this motherfucker. But I'll even tell you something about Jim Carrey. Motherfucker's on the up and up when it comes to a lot of other actors. I'll tell you that shit right now.
He may be insufferable, but I've not
he ain't
seen
a fucking liar.
I was going to say he's not a liar, and I've not seen any allegations ever come out. Not even any attempted allegations.
In fact, there's actually anti-allegations against him because there was a scene from like one of the Oscars where like Chris Isaac is basically molesting Cameron Diaz, and so they go up to get the Oscar. Jim Carrey won or whatever, and he grabs Chris Isaac and is like, "Let me touch your dick." Just you would have touched the motherfucker. Let me touch you, and it's just like, holy shit. And then he dressed like a hippie. He's like a lot of kick-ass trim in the audience.
Yeah, I love that line. That fine-ass pussy in the audience.
And he's just doing a character of it. It's just like everybody's like laughing their asses off. But Jim Carrey, outstanding performance.
Yes.
If I want a crazy Riddler, you can't get nobody else.
No.
And if I want an enigmatic, fun Two-Face, Aaron Eckhart is Two-Face. Fantastic job in the Christopher Nolan films. If a maniac motherfucker. But goddamn, what a comic book person Tommy Lee Jones is. He really hams it up. And he's a serious fucking actor. He is in hardcore dramas. This motherfucker is a Oscar-winning actor. This guy went against fucking Harrison Ford. This guy went against fucking the guy that played Blade, Wesley Snipes in U.S. Marshals. Like, this guy was the go-to actor in a drama / action. So yeah, like him doing this and hamming it up for the camera with the makeup on and the double suit and
that double suit.
Oh, crisp.
Oh my god.
Purple tiger print.
Yes.
Shit. And this was probably the last era of this decade of practical effects to the umpteenth degree. Like, there was not a lot of CGI in this movie.
But when there was,
it was awful. But the only cool CGI was the Batwing. That was the coolest CGI because it turns into a submarine. There's a lot of James Bond going on this. But no,
I remember seeing that and I literally mumbled. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's a toy. It's a giant toy.
It is.
But yeah, opening the movie is the suit up scene. We get the new Batmobile that's made of plastic.
Love that Batmobile.
You had mentioned like when it's riding the road, when it hits like a bump, the wings are flapping a little bit on the thing because it's made of fucking plastic.
Yes, just like the wind stabilizer that's on the top. Like every time it hit a bump, it like wiggled side to side. I'm like, no, that's supposed to be hard metal, motherfucker.
Yeah. But we get like the over the top. I call them the District 1 people because they look like they're from the fucking Hunger Games. The Capitol people with their super fucked up makeup.
Yes.
They're like, it's Batman, look out. And it's to begin with, we have Tommy Lee Jones, Two-Face, killing security guards, flipping coins, doing his stupid comic bullshit. And it's literally, we've decided to pull a Fast and the Furious and pull a whole vault out of a bank that, by the way, is like 30 stories up in the air with a helicopter and hang a giant vault that was not properly installed over the people of Gotham who are just standing there and not fleeing.
No.
By chain from a helicopter, and it's swinging back and forth with a hostage inside and Batman. And what came out of the safe deposit boxes in the vault?
Oh my god! Not liquid acid!
Boiling acid. First of all, folks, if anyone knows anything about the chemical construction of acid, it doesn't really boil because it's not a certain type of liquid. It is just a shitty pH liquid. But yeah, let's call it boiling acid because that's cool.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and poke a million holes in this movie. This is the only time I'm going to do it.
Yeah, this is one.
Okay.
Not that Jim Carrey learned Photoshop in like a minute.
No.
We'll let that go.
Yeah, not gonna let that go. Gonna let the mind zapper thing later on in the movie go. Totally get it. Whatever.
Or how he became a god.
We'll come to that later. That scared you a little bit. I was just like, what the fuck?
Forgivable.
All of it.
I will not critique that. However, we are 15 minutes into this fucking movie. This bank vault is flying through the fucking air. Batman is inside along with one of the security guards. The whole point of stealing this vault is to steal the money. The money is inside the safe deposit boxes. The same safe deposit boxes that is extruding fucking boiling acid. 1, where's the money? 2, did you put the boiling acid in the lock boxes? Did the bank have boiling acid just sitting and waiting just in case someone were to try to break in? 2, and number 3, this motherfucker is filling up. Like, it's like halfway full of fucking acid. Where is this coming from? I'm looking at the size of the thing going, is it being drip fed through the fucking rope? Is this how we're doing it? That part genuinely made my brain hurt. I can turn my brain off so much and just fall into the fantasy. But I'm sitting here going, none of this makes sense.
This is also a world where villains like Captain Condiment exist. So
this is prime example of and then storytelling, not therefore storytelling.
another unbelievable thing. It doesn't really throw me out of it, but it's just hilarious. It makes me think how strong Batman is. So the vault is vertically up with the door facing the sky. A vault door weighs between 2,000 pounds to like 2,500 pounds, a ton. He literally one arm opens this motherfucker
with his left arm.
With his left arm, because he's got the guard by the neck.
Yes,
and he saves the guard, and then somehow wires it to where the vault slides right back into place into the building, so he can cut the chain. Okay, that's cool. That rope is the most expensive fucking Wayne Tech rope ever made. It's made of fucking mithril.
And now I literally didn't think about this till just now. Okay, slides it right back into place. What are they gonna do with the acid?
Just let it drip.
It's inside the building now. You could have dumped that over the ocean or some shit.
We're not going to deal. We're not talking about the guard with PTSD who just like saw a man bat save his life. But
that's my only doesn't make sense rant for the rest of the movie. The rest of the time I could turn my brain off and enjoy it, but that one genuinely fucked me up.
Another big thing about this movie: the henchmen match the fucking villain.
That was 10 out of 10 perfection.
Two things. They wear gimp masks that are two-toned, red and black. For everybody who forgets this movie, go back and watch it. Two-Face's sigil is a bloody black and red yin-yang sign.
Yes.
That is some 90s new metal shit. That is awesome. Okay? I don't give a fuck. Oh, and they use these like modified Tech 9s with LED lights on the fucking drum mags, which is hilarious.
Everything in this world had LED lights on it.
They had to.
Neon LED and not just white and blue, green, purple, pink.
Another thing about
RGB.
Another thing about this Gotham City, a lot of half-naked male statues holding up skyscrapers, like this Atlas-looking motherfucker statue made of steel. And I'm just like, this is the Gotham I grew up watching. This is the Gotham I know of. These giant statues that don't come to life, but like look very imposing.
Yes.
I'm like, you have to be tough to live in Gotham. Like, you can't be a fucking pussy security guard living in Gotham. You will get killed.
You can't be screaming about boiling acid and live in fucking Gotham.
You can't be a bitch. But another thing is, like, Two-Face is always getting away in this movie, which I love because it makes him a contentious villain throughout. Batman is kind of on the downslide. He's dealing with some PTSD he decided to finally fucking deal with.
And now that was something we were talking about when we were watching it. So this was still a Tim Burton film. However,
Joel
Schumacher had a much heavier hand in it, and it was almost a Tim Burton film by name only.
Yeah, so some backstory on this. Tim Burton got pushed out because some parents got a little up their own ass, like they usually do when it came to some of his movies. And the Batman one, I will say, can be a little rough to watch if you're not prepared for it, because Danny DeVito bites a dude's nose off in that movie, and Christopher Walken gets electrified and turns into a skeleton like it's fucking Home Alone. So, like...
Yeah, and the thing is like... I kind of understand what happened with all that, and unfortunately, it really wasn't Tim Burton's fault.
It was not.
It was McDonald's fault.
Yes.
Because it was for the movie that had the penguin in it, and that is a genuinely disturbing penguin. Yeah. He is fucking scary.
Yeah, that's what Tim Burton was going for.
So what do? Let's make some fucking Happy Meal toys featuring the penguin, and let's get all these fucking, single-digit, kids, age-wise, interested in this movie, and all of a sudden they're going there and fucking penguins puking up this like black fucking like tar liquid the entire time, freaking these kids out. And what did you say earlier about the bat wing that turned into a submarine? It's a toy. They are literally making these movies to sell toys.
Yeah, it's the G.I. Joe Thundercats Transformer situation.
So Tim kind of got pushed out on that one because of McDonald's being a little overzealous with their marketing.
Now they've never come out, and Tim Burton has never said this tangentially. Like he's mentioned it. And what really got him off the movie was he said in his third movie he wanted to introduce Robin, but he wanted Marlon Wayans to play Robin.
I remember hearing about that.
So there was a lot of conjecture that Warner Brothers said we didn't want a black Robin. Now, if you go back and find those toys from that exact movie, Batman Forever, there is a Robin toy that doesn't quite look like Robin because it's a plastic. He has a fade, a square top fade, like a black person. They white-faced a black Robin toy. That's what they did. They whitewashed a fucking Robin toy, and that's why those Robin toys look like that. It was going to be a pre-exclusive thing you could buy from like Toys R Us.
Yeah.
But it was going
because they have to put these kind of figures and stuff into production way early.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and they got to be out kind of like right when the movie comes out.
Yep.
But this was going to look like the classic red and green Robin, which is featured in the movie when they're doing the trapeze artist. That's the Robin we were going to get. That classic. He was going to don that outfit, and that's what was going to be his outfit. There wasn't going to be this weird dark burgundy neon black and red with a corn version of Robin. like you know what I'm saying? Like this was going to be the new metal Robin.
Robin.
This is going to be classic Batman animated series Robin. That's what Tim Burton was going for, and they pushed him out. And so they had to fix all these fucking toys last minute, and so they white-faced the motherfuckers. And if you go, like, he does have like a black guy's haircut.
Yeah.
And it's fucking weird.
Yeah.
But, that's just another thing about Tim Burton getting knocked off. And we've seen this happen before. It happened in the Han Solo movie where we got 3 directors who would have made a great Star Wars movie if people had just left them the fuck alone.
Yep.
But no, we got Ron Howard and 2 other guys making one movie together, and it's just like no one talked to each other because they all quit or fired.
Thanks, Kathleen.
Yeah. Way to go, bitch. But this one also has, a bring back of the original Batman characters, like the original Commissioner Gordon, the original Alfred. This is a long-standing Alfred in 4 movies, who does a great job. He's the old Alfred. He's very kind, but we see where Val Kilmer is in this point in the movie. He doesn't want to be Batman anymore. He's just tired.
Yeah.
This is the tired old Batman, which I think would have been fantastic later on down the road. Either him or Michael Keaton being the old Batman, because those guys really portrayed the look of, oh, this is the cool Batman we know, and this is the Batman who really wanted to stop. And we could have had Chris O'Donnell as Robin as the one who died. We could have had that, and that would have been a more impactful thing than crazy Michael Keaton and the Flash murder mystery.
God, I want to forget about that movie.
Oh man, I can't wait till I strap you to a table and make you watch Madam Web.
But that actually, to kind of talk about that, I liked his Batman. I was not a fan of his Bruce Wayne.
So what's fucking crazy is Bob Kane. This is the last Batman movie he kind of watched, and he said Val Kilmer did it better than anybody. Because he made it his own.
And I'll respect that. I'm not going to argue with the man. But at the same, like for me personally, just his Bruce Wayne felt a little off, but he was a good Batman. But I think the reason his Bruce Wayne felt a bit off, this is what we were kind of originally talking about before it trailed off. His PTSD, that was a Schumacher. I really want to push this narrative of where Batman is a troubled soul.
A damaged man.
Yes. That felt very shoehorned in, and I think that's part of the reason I didn't care for his Bruce Wayne, is the Bruce Wayne was very existential and like the fucking... He's just walking past his fucking side table, looks at a photo of his fucking parents, it gets like flashbacks. I'm like, bro, if you're getting flashbacks from a photo, take the photo down.
And like 4 hours later, it's nighttime. It's time for Batman to come out and Bruce Wayne to go to bed.
Yep.
I think what kind of throws this one off a little bit is because we don't see a lot of Bruce Wayne out and about. Like when we watch when we watch the George Clooney one, you see Bruce Wayne out and about. He's got him a bitch. He's doing all this philandering, doing all this philanthropic stuff. He's giving money. We're seeing the Bruce Wayne who's the party Bruce Wayne, kind of like we got with Christian Bale and like Dark Knight,
Dark Knight Hotel.
Yeah. So like, well, we got the overdone Bruce Wayne in these movies, but this one we don't get it because he's trying to figure out both ways to kind of be Bruce Wayne and Batman at the same time. Because keep in mind, he's not with anyone either. All the other Batman movies, he's got someone. Michael Keaton's got Kim Basinger in the first movie.
He didn't have anyone.
In the second one, he has Michelle Pfeiffer. In this one, he ain't got nobody.
However, what's that one chick's name?
This is
the reporter.
Oh, there's the reporter, and then there's the psychiatrist, Chase Meridian.
Okay, yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Dude, right after he retrieved that bank vault and put it right back in there, she was out there waiting for him. My God, the look on her face, I'm sitting here going like, all right, y'all need a mop. Clean up on aisle 5. Like, holy shit, she is about to jump his backbone.
Yeah, Nicole Kidman in her prime.
Yeah, she was just staring at him with that, I am going to rip that fucking mask off you. Hey, guess what? You know what I like? Latex.
Yeah,
she was giving that the entire time.
She's not to kink shame, but she's out there.
Oh yeah,
yeah. She's not. I'm not kink shaming. Just good
I'm
for her.
definitely not shaming.
Yeah,
I'm sitting here going like, God damn, I want to go to Gotham.
Fucking Batman and throbbing. God damn, and frothing at the gash. You know, you can drown a toddler down there.
That one, what that throbbing at the gash.
Frothing at the gash. That's a classic one right there. But no, she is on that shit, and this is where the movie it becomes my favorite because it's one of the most cringiest Batman movies, and it's over the top cringy for the romantic scenes.
Oh, the rooftop.
For the rooftop scene, we'll come to it, but like, when we finally see like Gotham in the daylight, it is not daylight; it is sepia toned.
Yes,
and CGI.
And that was the moment I'm sitting here going, because you were like, all right, here's the
bed. Check it out. I was like,
And the thing was, it's like for the first 3 seconds, I'm going, okay, this isn't too bad.
Cool little fade in.
Yeah. But then they held on it for like 5 seconds too long. And I'm like, that's what ruined it.
Yeah.
If it was just a quick cutaway, I probably wouldn't have even clocked it as being bad CGI, but you made me look at it for too long.
So we're introduced to Edward Nygma, Jim Carrey, who is having a mental breakdown. He's trying to hype himself up to sell Bruce Wayne this new technology. Now, let me tell you. Let me ask you about symmetry for a second. So we're in an office that doesn't look like it should be a fucking office because it looks like it's the throne room of the Death Star because there's a giant clock window that is very imposing from the outside because it's being held up by another metal man on the outside. Like this Atlas motherfucker is holding this clock. But it is Wayne Tech, like Wayne Enterprise.
It's like the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Yeah. Of Dr. Doom.
Yeah. Said Dr. Strange, Dr. Doom.
But like it looks like a villain works here.
Yeah.
And what a play, because everyone has like these nice tight like desks that are probably about your size of a desk. These like cool like banker like accountant green lights and stuff like that. But Mr. Nygma's desk is surrounded by a cage filled with wires and weird like
metal parts,
like shit you'd buy at a defunct Radio Shack.
Yeah.
Just filled with neon lights and like weird like Spencer's Gifts like electrical shit.
Yes.
Like it looks like a Hot Topic in there made by a madman.
And I love the progression of what happened on there. So it's like he's like you said, he's psyching himself up and everything. Mr. Wayne comes through the door. Oh, it's fantastic to see you, this, that, and the other. And Bruce asks him, he's just like, well, isn't this a little dangerous? He's like,
yeah, but he's like, you gotta break a few eggs to make an omelet, you know?
Yeah.
But like what he's proposing Bruce Wayne, he didn't, you know, Bruce Wayne's giving him the benefit of a doubt.
All right, crazy man.
I'll tell you what. Give it to my secretary and give me a full workup of what you're working on. That's what he's asking.
Yeah.
He's not making a definitive decision, which is kind of nice. He didn't tell you a straight no. This ain't like fucking Shark Tank. All right? But he's like, look, man, you work for me. Give me a full workup and we could, you know, make this a thing.
And what does Mr. Nygma do?
No. I need an answer now. In the full emote of the face, as Jim Carrey does. And he's like, well, if that's so, Mr. Nygma, I guess it's a no. And it just shuts him the fuck down. And now his direct boss is like, get your crazy ass back to your fucking desk and start packing your shit up because I'm going to kick the fuck out of you in the parking lot.
Little string bean bitch.
Yeah, just calls him a bitch. That would have been less cringy of what he did. And so we get this build up where Bruce Wayne is given, you know, he leaves. And he goes back to being the Batman. It cuts away to the night of that same day, and the Wayne boss man shows up to fire Nygma. He is fully out of his gourd.
Oh yeah.
I love this scene so much because like this is before like Photoshop. This is before anything like this. But the special effects still hold up, I think, on this one because he creates this mind control helmet and he basically cold cocks the old man in the back of the skull and duct tapes him to an office chair. And he creates this 3D virtual reality kind of situation where it's kind of like the image is being shot out of the screen almost, which we kind of get a perspective of what he's seeing. But it turns out it's a mind draining machine. You can know everything someone else knows while they're being distracted by the video they're seeing. So he's able to he's not killing them. He's just taking what they know and copying it to his brain. Yeah. They still know what they know because they come back too. But no, he does that weird like, and like it's Jim Carrey just being Jim Carrey.
Yes.
And it's no different than Robin Williams being Robin Williams. You know, these guys, this is why we hired them. We wanted them to be over top. They wanted to be improvised.
Enigma in this movie is essentially Elon Musk.
An evil dumbass.
Yes.
But he drains like all this information from him, and he's just like,
ooh, right.
And the guy he's coming to, he's like, what the fuck is all this bullshit? Like he doesn't know where he's at, and he's just like, well, terminated, and like fucking Spartan kicks this motherfucker out of the goddamn window, and the motherfucker lives long enough for Enigma to have been like, oh, it's gonna be so sad. It just rips his helmet off. And he falls to his death. And it's like, that is a cool villain opener. This is the downfall of a man who rises up as a villain.
Rising up!
Yep. And like, this is so fucking weird.
Yes!
And, oh man, we haven't got to the costume changes yet.
No.
But to go on, Two-Face decides to do another fucking heist type situation. And,
this time at the the circus, right?
The circus. So he's got Nicole Kidman with him as Bruce Wayne, and this is what I like about this. This Bruce Wayne jumps into action and doesn't run away and turn into the Batman. This guy, I will say this, I don't think any other Bruce Wayne has actually just walked down the steps and took the fucking gloves off and just started whooping people's asses in a suit. Like, if you see if you see like a billionaire who's wearing a 3-piece suit walking down the stairs and you have a gun and he starts kicking your shit in, maybe he earned that $1 billion a different way than you thought, motherfucker. Like, maybe he got it from kicking ass and taking names, okay? Because that would be kind of scary. Like, if we watched, like, a billionaire that we know is famous and there was, like, a heist on camera and we see, like, them beelining for a guy with a gun and start snapping his fucking neck and you're just like, what the fuck just happened? Did Jeff Bezos take that guy's soul? Like, that's what he did. Holy shit. He knows karate.
Now, do you think with how much bad will Jeff Bezos has in the world, if he were to stop an active gunman with his bare fucking hands and sheer will, do you think his crimes would be forgiven?
I think people would look at him in a different light.
Yeah.
I think if he killed the man on camera, everybody would be like, okay, let's word up, motherfucker, rockets and Mars all the way.
Well, I didn't specify how he stopped him.
I would specify that he murdered a man on camera. If he murdered a man on camera, my perspective of him would change.
Jeffrey Bezos.
I'm coming for you, Bezos. I'm coming for you.
I will say, this is actually this only other time that this one didn't hit me as hard as the bank vault did. But you talking about basically Bruce Wayne just getting the fuck up and being like, all right, time to kick some fucking ass. Right before he does that.
Oh, Two-Face says, I'm going to blow this fucking place up until Batman gets here.
Mm-hmm. Where is the Batman?
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne stands up, sitting next to the lady, and yells at the top of his lungs,
Harvey, I'm Batman.
Harvey!
It's me.
Over here, buddy. Hi, I'm the Batman.
Come get some, you two-faced fuck. That's what I would have loved if he mocked him. Because that would be the biggest fuck you Bruce Wayne could have done. Is if, like, let's say he's doing a beeline, Tommy Lee Jones is like, hey, what's he doing? He starts kicking the shit out of one of your henchmen, and he's doing a beeline for you. Harvey Dent, the villain that is known as Two-Face. And let's say he got a little too close. I would have loved just a little bit of dialogue. You two-faced fuck, and just like punch him in the face. And it's just like, he starts kicking him in front of all those guys. Like, what the fuck is happening to Boss Man? Like, it's just like, he's getting the shit rocked. And it's just like, I don't need the fucking Batman to kick your pissant ass. And it's like, this is why we're rich in Gotham, you piece of shit, because we kicked the shit out of the competition. And like, him just going on a tirade, and that would be the headline. Not Two-Face was stopped. It was, billionaire beats to death Batman villain. It kills 40 henchmen,
rendering Batman useless.
Batman nowhere to be found. That's what Bruce Wayne. That'd be the comic. Bruce Wayne has the fucking sense to be like, oh, I could have just done this as Bruce Wayne. I could have just done that. I have $1 billion fucking dollars.
I don't have anyone else around me I love anymore.
I just hire a stack team to kill every Gotham villain. They're coming out of their fucking cave or villain cave or whatever and just get shot in the fucking head. And I have them on a mantle. Look at Scarecrow. Look at Cillian Murphy's dead fucking skull. I washed it. Look at it. I wrote my name and pissed in his mouth. Like, ah.
But yeah, motherfucker stands up. Hey, bitch, I'm Batman.
Batman.
Bold. Homegirl
hears.
doesn't even fucking react, and she still acts oblivious throughout the entire movie.
You know why she didn't hear it?
Who are you behind that
You know
mask?
why we didn't hear that? Because we didn't see the scene where she's 3 knuckles deep thinking of Batman coming through there and kicking everybody's ass. All right?
I know, but I'm just sitting here going like, if Chris stood up and was just like, I am Batman.
Hi, man. I'm Batman. How y'all?
My ears would have immediately tuned into that and basically gotten whiplash being like, bitch, what?
Yeah, man. I've been Batman the whole time. Just pull in a dip and start kicking ass.
So yeah, for the fact that Homegirl, who is basically on like Batman watch,
is deaf.
deaf to the name apparently.
What I do like about this scene, about this part of the movie is we actually see the actual stunt people working.
Yes.
And they're not doubles of anyone. So the trapeze artists in the movie are actual stunt people who learned how to do that particular thing. Fun fact, a lot of these people in this movie are actually guest appearances in the Christopher Nolan movies. The one who plays Dick Grayson's mom is actually a special guest in Batman Begins. I can't remember what she played, but it was like one of those roles. It's like if you miss it, you'll miss it.
Yeah.
But no, we see that they're trying to do this great performance without the safety net as like the big shock and awe. And then Two-Face is like, gonna blow up the circus, and they take the initiative. We can stop this.
Yeah.
Which I loved. This was these people take an initiative, and we kind of get the first steps of Robin, because he ends up taking the brunt of it and saving the people by pushing the bomb out of the arena.
Left-handed.
Super fucking strong, everyone.
Oh yeah.
I would be surprised if Superman ever showed up and been like, you guys are strong enough to do this shit. Why am I here?
Everyone in this film is ambidextrous.
Yeah, everyone in this film is super fucking strong. Squat 300 and bench press 5 kind of people. Like, but his family is killed while he's trying to save the day, and it's kind of fucked up because we see that Batman or Bruce Wayne couldn't really have done anything. There's 3 people falling from the sky.
Yeah.
And he has got his elbow deep down the throat of a fucking henchman to been like, let me, if I could get his soul out fast enough, I can maybe save one of them. Because that's what Bruce Wayne's really doing.
That was my confusing part. I was just like, he could have at least tried to save one. He just looked at it and went, yeah, well, that sucks for them.
That's a lot of writing, though. That's a lot of writing to been like, how do we kill one of his family? There's a car accident on the way back. How do we do it? But actually, we don't actually get any explanation, but we find out that Robin, Dick Grayson, is going to be sent to Bruce Wayne's house.
Yeah.
Because he felt responsible. There's no actual like seeing Shane saying like, hey, you can stay at Wayne's house. He feels responsible. And
it's kind of set up odd too, because basically the next scene is Robin pulling up to Wayne Manor.
Yeah, on his motorcycle.
Yep. And with basically like the social worker being like, take good care of the boy.
And Gordon's there. He's just
like, that's what it was. Yeah.
And I love this. I love this Jim Gordon. He's this little fat man.
Yeah.
He's fucking hilarious.
But basically, as soon as Gordon leaves, Robin's like,
I'm out this
cool.
motherfucker.
See ya.
Hey man, is there a gas station? And I love this part because this is the Bruce Wayne part. This is a very Bruce Wayne thing. Hey, before you leave, I have a little gas pump for my vehicles. Let's come back here and fill your gas. If you're going to leave, at least make sure this gets you filled up.
Yeah, because there's not another gas station for miles, and you ain't going to make it.
And he ends up showing him his giant collection of just motor vehicles and
cars and
classic cars and bikes. And I love Alfred, who's coming around the corner already. He left for no more than probably 15 minutes.
No, yeah.
He comes out with like this Angus burger with onion rings on top and like in a glass of milk, and it's just like, and fries and shit. And it's just like, that's what a teenage guy would want.
Yep. And he's just like, I made this for the young Dick.
young Mr. Grayson. Is he eating or not? Like,
and Wayne's just like, nope,
No,
he's not staying. He's leaving. You know,
he
he's
reverse psychologies this motherfucker.
and he's just like, oh, well, I'm sure the hounds are hungry.
Yeah, everybody forgets Batman has dogs.
Yeah.
Ferocious fucking dogs.
But no, this is how Alfred's just totally playing along into it too, just being like, oh,
that's just too bad.
I suppose the hounds are hungry.
And I just like, hey, Al, wait up. Because he's all, that's another thing. It's like, these movies are a little bit more laid back when it came to like the main character as opposed to the mask character. And they make him feel at home very quickly, because that's, that is kind of like the campiness of Batman, I think, kind of playing through.
We didn't get a giant penny though.
No, we didn't, or a dinosaur.
No. It's like, if we're going to go camp, let's go full camp, guys.
I would have loved an explanation for the giant penny. Like at one point. Or like the giant robot. I remember he had a giant robot too.
Yes.
Yeah, if you play the Arkham games, he has those things and they're never explained. But there is a villain's like weapons vault in the Arkham games, and it explains like how you broke their fucking jaw to steal it from them. But yeah, like there's some really cool stuff when it comes to the Batcave that we get, as opposed to like the Michael Keaton one. We get a lot more Wayne Manor in this one. This one's a little bit more elaborate. This one looks like it was an actual house. It's a 3-story walk up. I want to say they filmed part of it at the Biltmore, if I'm not mistaken, at like one of the parts where they live in the Biltmore.
Yeah. As
opposed to the one where you could tour, because for people who don't know, the Biltmore house is in North Carolina. People live there. They live on one side of it, but they never took to the rest of the house, and they just use it as a tourist attraction, which I think is kind of fucking weird.
It is.
But again, it's like, that's old money.
But at the same time, perspective, is it that much different than living in an apartment? It's like you got other people coming in and out all day right outside your living area. It's not that different.
Yeah, but at one point, I'm not worried about like touring the Biltmore house and like a drunk rich man coming out and blasting fucking music out of an iPhone. No, oh, hey guys, how's it going? And just like eating a McMuffin. And it's like, hey y'all,
welcome to the Biltmore house.
How you doing? And like a bottle of wine in a fucking robe pocket or some shit.
I mean, you're just describing a really good morning.
Yeah, for a rich person. But yeah, so it's kind of like really well designed, the way they do everything and how they keep everything kind of tight, because technically all we see of the house is the living room or the living area.
Yeah, kind of like the first walk-in main area, a dining area,
and a laundry room, and that's it.
The laundry room.
We'll get to that one. But we find out that there's another. We go back to Riddler.
Yes.
So Nigma's trying to figure out how to be a villain, right? And this weird.
I'm crazy. I need to be super crazy.
I forget what song is playing in the background.
It was a really popular one.
Yeah,
and it was a pull too.
Because this album also has Seal and Offspring in it, and the soundtrack.
Yes, the Offspring track really caught me off guard.
But he's in his little lair, his little fucking 1-bedroom studio, which is about as narrow as this room.
Yeah.
And with a giant skylight. The roof is basically the roof from Hey Arnold.
Yeah.
He basically lives in the Hey Arnold house. But we see like all this little weird shit he has in there. It's little knick-knack stuff. He has this like future-telling genie vending machine.
Yeah.
But it's a riddle machine. It literally tells you riddles, yes or question mark. And I will say the design on this is fantastic, because
was it Tell Me Now by Mazzy Star?
It might have been.
Yeah, because I pulled up the soundtrack, and you've got like U2, Seal, Offspring, Method Man, Delvin's, Flaming Lips, Sunny Day Real Estate, Nick Cave.
Yeah, it's
Randy.
Yeah.
God, I've not heard that name forever.
Well, those songs come up later on. But we also get kind of I'm trying to think of the best word to describe this.
A bit of an origin. I mean, he kind of is.
It's an origin, but like it's because it's juxtaposed on like another crime that's happening. Because we find out he does this the same time as the circus scene, and he's cheered on Two-Face to go to it.
Yeah.
And all this stuff is happening, and then we get to Two-Face's lair, the giant Statue of Liberty face that is flat white and purplish black, to match the burns on his face. And this is where I appreciate the movie more than anything: the lighting. When we see Tommy Lee Jones's face turn, the lighting makes the makeup just come the fuck out. It makes it this weird neon purple when the light hits it, but when he's just out and about, it is a dark burn. We do, however, see like on a television screen the origins of Two-Face, where it looked,
and it was so ambiguous. Like it was just like, you know.
Well, we find out that Batman was in the courtroom and tried to stop it. Can you imagine just being in a courtroom and Batman's just standing there?
Yeah.
Everyone looks like a regular fucking person, and there's just this guy in the suit.
It's like the one goth kid at the family reunion.
Yeah, it's like when you do like the special like character mod in the game, and they keep it in the cutscene.
Yeah.
It looks weird as shit. Why is he wearing a Burger King hat? Like,
was he on an airplane?
Yeah, like, it's fucking weird as shit. But with this one, with the opening scene of his lair, which I love. This is one of those things, we have a lair.
Yes.
We don't get that a lot with a lot of villains, but after Christopher Nolan. So Batman and Robin is the last Batman movies that gives us a lair, which that's kind of what's missing from some of them. I will say.
I will say in the Bane movie, there was a bit of a lair there underneath the city. He had a little area set up,
but it wasn't like there wasn't like a giant set. Like not everyone was wearing like a mask.
No, he just had a supercomputer set up next to a well.
Yeah, that was it.
Or a drainage system.
Yeah, that was it. He was living like a fucking Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
But that's basically what it was. But all the other ones had layers, like fucking Penguin had the fucking ice thing under the lake, under the river.
And it's like Two-Face's lair. So you mentioned the Statue of Liberty. His entire lair was split down the middle. The chairs, the tables, the wall.
The aesthetic. Yeah, on one
so
side,
much attention to detail.
On the one side, you had Drew Barrymore dressed in white. And on the other side, you had his dark girlfriend, which I loved. She's a famous actress, Debbie Mazar. She's hilarious. She plays in a lot of like weird legal dramas, but she was the dark side. It was just like raw. Oh, what was it? This food. One side was like very fancy, like quail eggs over poached salmon, and the other one was just like raw pig leg or some shit on a spit, on a flaming spit.
You know what I like.
And his gun is this chromed out mess of a weapon. It looks like it shoots 50 cal rounds. It's fucking terrible. His coin was fantastic. It was a double-headed like eagle coin. Was at the Statue of Liberty on each side. Yeah. And it was scratched up on one side. Fantastic. Like a lot of went into that, Then
all of a sudden the Riddler shows up in his little box costume, because that was all in that same scene.
Yeah, he shows up in like a full body spandex suit.
Yeah, and it was stolen off his little fortune teller guy.
Yeah, and so he shows up, and there's this like Tommy Lee Jones like, all right, I guess we're doing this.
Because that's when you see that huge gun, because he pulls it out and like puts it right underneath his chin, and he's just like, tell me why I shouldn't blow your fucking brains out right now.
And he's using he does what Robin Williams does. A lot of like quick language that is like just analogy upon analogy. Here, hey, my bifurcated one, let me tell you. Because he's bifurcated down the middle. He's just like, let me tell you. And it turns out he had been there and set up a machine to show him what he's all about. And it's the little boxes, the little Riddler boxes, which you can buy, I found out. I thought that was fascinating. We talked about that.
I might get one.
Yeah, I found it on like a movie's like props list or whatever. Oh. But it looks like a blender.
It does. It looks like a blender with like two neon green triangle wings.
Yeah, wings. It's got wings and a spiral neon thing. And it looks like it's filled with like fake ice.
Yes!
And like it spins. And then he's like, look what I've created. And this is how we're going to, get Batman, because that's Two-Face's ultimate goal, is to get Batman. Riddler is to beat Bruce Wayne. Yeah. So their goals are in tandem. They just don't know where they intersect yet. And I love this plan. let's steal some money. I could build my own business, and it's done.
And I'm surprised we were able to even see the scene through all the holes, because both of them were chewing up those scenes, man.
Oh man, it was just so much pull in these fucking movies.
Oh my god, the exquisite acting.
Mm-hmm. Well, like not just that, was the props. The props are out of this world cool. We talked about it during the commentary, but the fucking riddles. The riddle packages he leaves around. These little packages he leaves around with riddles filled in them. These look like they're made on Etsy, like by some professionals, you know, and they're really well done. One was like a pop-up. One was like this little gold case. One is like a pop-up book. It was like
a card. He would pull his tongue down.
Yeah, and it just changes like very like seamless.
Yes,
and I'm like, man, that they took as an adult, I'm like, man, they took a lot of time to build this shit up, and it looked really cool.
And the other thing too is the riddles, not fucking rocket science, not like Einstein levels of, brain twisters, but at the same time, at the, climax of the movie when he's like tying all the riddles together, you as the audience don't necessarily think of that immediately. So you're kind of learning it with Bruce. Conversely, when you watch the most recent Batman movie, you're like guessing the riddles while he's like still reading them. It's like, that's a clock.
Yeah.
It's a clock. Bruce, it's a fucking clock. It's a clock. Thank you.
But you're going along with him on the journey of trying to figure out who this is, because he obviously doesn't know who Edward Nygma is.
No,
he doesn't know who the Riddler really is. So, but we do, because we see the movie. But like it brings it with you. You're going with the hero a lot of times, as opposed to like the Batman, where we don't know who the villain really is, and it's got to juxtapose a little bit on how we try to find him.
Yeah.
But no, he builds. Long story short, they rob enough bullshits, do enough bullshit, to where he builds Nygma Corp. Yeah, and
and that's the immediate moment I was like, holy fuck, this is Elon Musk.
And like he puts basically a Fire Stick in every home.
Yep. It's a combination Fire Stick and VR headset.
Yeah, it's the Oculus VR Nygma bucks. But yeah, so he builds all this stuff up, and what we find out later on is this was the Riddler's goal, was to build a corporation to outdo Wayne Enterprises, and then probably take over Wayne Enterprises. Meanwhile, Batman is struggling to fight Two-Face because he's struggling with some other shit. But what I love is a scene where Chris O'Donnell is just on like the third flight of stairs, looking down at Alfred and being like, "Hey, Alfred, what are you doing?" "Oh, I'll be back." "Okay, cool." And he fucking rappels down as fast as he can, because he's not allowed in this one room. And I love Alfred. He's like, "What's in that room?" He's like, "Oh, all the dead women Mr. Wayne has."
Yeah.
Ex-girlfriends and wives. And I'm like, that's a joke, but it's just like, God damn, that would be terrified if a fucking butler said that.
Right? It's like, you wouldn't know to really believe it or not.
Is it a joke, Al? Is it? Well, I guess you'll never know, Mr. Grayson.
Well, he keeps calling him Master Dick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, y'all, Master Dick. I'm like, bro, stop.
And so he basically tumbles in, almost breaking his fucking neck, tumbling into the fucking Batcave. And then it's intruder alert, intruder alert. The only problem I have with this scene is it says intruder alert, and then the Batmobile comes up, the Batwing shows, the fucking suits open up, the vault with the suits open. I'm like, all that shit should be locked down.
It's like, intruder alert, intruder alert. Look at this sweet car, bro. Intruder alert, intruder alert. Look at this plane. You know you want to try the plane.
And he sees all this cool shit. And then he decides to steal the fucking Batmobile while Bruce is literally talking to the chick he wants to fuck.
Yes.
Robin is a cock-blocking fucking asshole. And I love this. Just casually in this world, he has a iWatch, or
Apple Watch.
He has an Apple Watch, and he just looks down. He's like video calling with Alfred, and Alfred's like, "Oh, he stole the car. What, the Benz? No, Master Wayne. The other car. What, the Bentley? No, the other car. You dumb fuck."
And even one more time, he's like, "Not the Mozzie." Something like that. It was like one more. He's just like,
the other car.
And then you see it on his face. It's like,
oh. And then the offspring starts playing. Yeah. And we see the Batmobile. And like we see the bump. And I think this is where Brandy is in the movie because she plays one of those street prostitutes. She's like, oh shit, it's the Batman. And she's like, this ain't no Batman, this is Batboy. Anyway, while this is happening,
he's like trying to pick up a hooker.
Yeah, but basically while this is happening, a random girl screams who just walked into a den of fucking gangsters with the coolest fucking makeup on. They look like they should be at a Ghost fucking
concert,
but or like they look like a combination of Ghost, Kiss, and Misfit fans.
Yes, they really do.
All their face paint and shit, but it's all this neon yellow, green, and red.
Oh shit, it's King Diamond.
It's King Diamond, and he just pulls up and like, oh shit, it's the Bat, and they run, and then they realize like, wait, that's not Batman, and I will say Chris O'Donnell holds his fucking own.
Yeah.
This Robin starts kicking the dog shit out of a couple of them, and then he gets outnumbered. Yeah. And, but, like, they came out of the fucking woodwork, too. They're, like, swinging on vines and shit. Like, what kind of fucking villains are they? They all got, like, neon painted chains. It's like, the investment in the neon paint alone.
And then I remember distinctly the fly-in from Batman was
it's
one
Batman.
Of those. Oh, my God. Like,
they're all screaming, like, like, what the fuck? It's one guy.
But like the effect they used for him flying in, it's just like, holy shit.
Yeah. But he saves Chris O'Donnell, and he's just like, and then they have this weird argument. It's just like, don't touch the fucking car.
Yeah.
God damn it. But we go back, and like this is when it gets like really fast paced. And we see like this new ballroom kind of situation, and we see that what Enigma's really doing is providing a fantasy. But while he's doing that, it's also stealing the things they know. It's Riddler's ultimate goal is knowledge. In every sense of the word, that's what he does in every situation. I did like the Batman series, the cartoon, where they showed the Riddler there, where he was stealing data. I loved his plan because that's what he was doing. He was breaking into banks and stealing all their data so he can make more money. Kind of like a crypto villain.
He's a crypto bro.
He's a crypto bro. He's just stealing it instead of building it. He's just stealing it. But his ultimate goal is to find out who the Batman is, because if he can get enough people in Gotham on the box, he can figure out which one of them is the Bat.
If anything, by process of elimination.
Yeah, and he has this box set up, which I thought was cool because it has this weird like liquid USB flash drive.
Yes,
cool as fuck.
Like it's just basically a glow stick.
It's a glow stick, and they take it out. He takes it out.
Well, yeah, because he's just like, so is this the machine? And she's like, yes, Mr. Wayne, please try it out. He goes, yeah, I don't think I want to do that because I don't want my brain info sucked. He goes, can you fix that?
And she's like, yeah, you just take this out. And he takes it, puts it in his pocket, and she pulls one out of her tits and throws it into that Star Trek thing.
Yep. Fuck it, we about to get it.
And Two-Face decides to drop in and rob everybody.
Yep.
And Jim Carrey's super pissed.
Yeah, he's just like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? I thought we were on a team.
Yeah, this is my shit, motherfucker.
I didn't fuck up your shit. Don't fuck up my shit.
And Two-Face is like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. I am in this for me and me only. Get out of the way, nerd.
So Bruce, conks back out of it and shows up and starts kicking ass. And it was all a lure just to get Batman out into the open. And so Batman gives chase like he's supposed to, but it's a trap. And Two-Face pulls out a fucking bazooka, which is cool, and traps the Batman under all this rubble.
Yeah.
And what we see is Chris O'Donnell was there the whole time with Alfred, and he suits up, rappels down, and saves Batman.
Yeah.
What we don't get is a scene showing Chris O'Donnell fighting guys to get to Batman.
Yeah.
Or why did Batman get trapped? Oh, maybe it's because he was focused on the Robin not being murdered.
Yeah.
That's probably what he was focused on. That's why he got trapped. But there's no scene of that. It's probably a deleted scene that got cut for some fucked up reason. And then we get an argument between it was too fucking dangerous. Well, in context, it wasn't. All he did was rappel off a rope and save your ass. What do you mean dangerous? Like, there's nothing dangerous for him. You were the one in danger.
Yeah.
It made no sense. And it kind of fucks with the movie a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that.
And because I pointed out when we were watching, I'm like, see, there's no reason this argument should happen.
Yeah.
He did nothing wrong. He's like, it's too dangerous. Too dangerous just to rappel down a rope to pick your ass up? Get the fuck out of here.
Shut the fuck up, bro.
And like I love how Alfred's just stitching him up.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, see, that's pretty cool. You know, you don't get a lot of that of this Batman getting stitched up till like the Nolan films, whereas like he broke his back, fucked up his leg. You know? that was kind of nice. You know? But we finally see where things are ramping up for the third act. Okay, so
and it all happens pretty fast, like back to back to back.
So he decides to invite Nicole Kidman to his house. It's Halloween. And he decides to tell her straight up, I'm the Batman, blah, blah, blah.
And she acts surprised.
While this is going on, Alfred gets fucking cold-cocked in the face at the front door by Tommy Lee Jones.
Trick or treat!
Oh, yes.
Trick!
Yeah, it's super fucking cringy. But we get a new costume out of it.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
different.
blinged out.
Yeah, we get a little bit more blinged out one. And I will say, if this was the Michael Caine Alfred, Tommy Lee Jones, we have a sucking chest wound, and the Riddler would be decapitated because that's what Michael Caine would do. He keeps that motherfucking thing on him.
Yep.
Which I will say, I watched another clip of Batman, like one of the Batman series, and Batman is kicking the shit out of these guys, and here comes Alfred with a shotgun. He's pumping rounds at the motherfuckers. I'm just like, Jesus Christ!
I remember that clip.
You know, it's like pow, pow. He's like giving a fuck.
I have it, Master Wayne.
No. Let me clean it up.
No, Master Wayne. This is my mess.
If we see Bruce Wayne kicking these guys' asses while trying to save Nicole Kidman in his house, can you imagine? You're there to home invade this rich guy who's not really that tough, and then he starts kicking the shit out of y'all.
Yes.
That would be unnerving.
And this is the second time Two-Face has witnessed Bruce Wayne kicking his ass.
But now he knows why, because he's Batman. Because Bruce Wayne, Nicole Kidman, Tommy Lee Jones, and Jim Carrey, and Chris O'Donnell all know who the Batman is.
Yes.
And we get this scene where just Tommy Lee Jones flipping a coin, waiting for it to turn tails so he could shoot Bruce Wayne. That was his...
Yeah, because the entire time he's just like, do not kill him. Do not kill him.
Yeah. He puts one round across his fucking head, and it
grazes him.
It grazes him and incapacitates him. And he falls down the stairs. They steal Nicole Kidman, like Princess Peach.
Yeah.
She goes out the door. And Tommy Lee Jones is about to cold cock fucking Bruce Wayne one more time. And the Riddler stops him.
Yeah.
He's like, if we kill him, he won't learn nothing. And like that's a kind of a diabolical kind of a line coming out of him.
Yeah.
And I really love that. That's what I love about this movie is it's so elaborate and the villains are dumb. Mm-hmm. You let the hero live long enough to kick the shit out of you and then murder you. Because that's what he fucking does. And so they boot and rally back up to save Nicole Kidman. But it turns out Alfred made a new suit for Robin. And it looks kind of neat. It's got that kind of Arkham Knight look before Arkham.
Definitely 90s.
Definitely 90s, but this was going to be the Marlon Wayne suit. This is what this was going to be. It's got a neon green, but it's blacker, neon, or not.
It's like a burgundy red.
Yeah, strong burgundy red, but it's got a shine to it.
Very flashy R, which is kind of like a classic looking R.
Yeah. But before all this happened, the Riddler destroyed the Batcave.
Yeah.
In a weird, goofy fucking montage. He destroys the fucking Batcave. And he's got these, like, bat bombs.
Yes.
These Riddler bat bombs.
And he's, like, humping the air the entire time.
Yeah, and it looks like a late 80s, early 90s live-action Spider-Man Green Goblin toy.
Right.
And he's just chucking them. And they're exploding. And when we get to the scene, it's like, all right, so Batman's going to take the Batboat.
Yep.
And he takes the Batwing. Robin takes the Batboat. Cool fucking scene when they launch out.
Oh yeah,
because they both launch out at the same time. But another cool thing is they hit the fucking bat signal, right?
Yeah.
Just to add insult to injury, the Riddler has lasers shoot a question mark above it. And it's like, what the fuck is that? Because that was cool as shit. That was the whole arc of the whole like advertisement was this giant question mark with the bat symbol in it.
Yep.
And I'm like, that was pretty fucking cool advertising because it was like red and black on the comics and stuff and on even the fucking movie posters and stuff.
Then all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah, and so it is a villain's paradise.
Oh, God.
There's sea mines, scuba Riddler henchmen, fucking just stupid shit. And we see that they're playing Battleship, and he's got his flashy LED question mark jacket on. He looks like that guy who used to ask people like in DC, be like, "Do you want to know how to make money off the government?" You know what? That guy's still going. He's still doing it, but he's not doing it like that. He just has a website. But he looked like that guy.
He did.
The guy who provided free information about government loans. And he just looks so goddamn stupid. But they're playing with this battleship, and at some point, between leaving the Batcave and returning to his villain lair, he was able to make a mock-up of the Batmobile, like the Batwing.
Yes!
And the Batboat for Battleship. Somehow, he's that quick. This actually is the joke about the Riddler in the fandom. How fast is he producing this bullshit? Because if you play the Arkham games, when Arkham falls and you start the game, there is 120 Riddler trophies. It's like, how did he set this up so goddamn fast?
He's insane.
He's insane. But like, he had robots and shit the whole time. And it's like, oh, fuck me, dude. This is why it's like the Riddler is the most contentious villain, because it's like somehow he's the Flash. So Robin is getting his ass kicked by some scuba men from like a Bond villain movie. And what was cool about the whole like Nigma like blender, it pulls a Star Wars, it shoots lasers, it Death Star the fucking Batwing out of the sky. Got him. And like, just the look alone, that looked like some Star Wars shit.
It really did.
And like, it made that noise, that whomp, 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 noise, and it shoots the wing. Well, it turns, it lands in the water, the wings detach, and it becomes a bat submarine, which I loved. Because every kid was like, I'm getting a Batwing because I could justify it being two toys. And he starts kicking the shit out of those scuba guys.
Yes.
And they land on the platform of the thing. And I think you missed it, but there is an Adam West like moment where it's just like, holy metal, Batman. That's what really Robin says.
Yes.
And it's like, what? The metal. It's holy. It's there's. You can get inside. And it's just like, no, you said that bullshit. You fucking asshole. But it's funny. It is fucking
holy
hilarious.
metal, Batman.
Yeah, that's what he said. It's holy. There's holes in there. Well, we find out it's a trap, obviously. And
it's a trap.
We get an elaborate
second one.
Yeah, the second elaborate trap, which is this metal thing that's coming down this pipe. And I remember you mentioned it. They engraved the pipe with question marks.
Dude, everywhere on this fucking, because they're also like in this elevator shaft.
Yeah.
Everywhere in this elevator shaft are fucking question marks. So just leading into what you said earlier about him like having all the time to like make all these riddles. Who the fuck has got the laser engraving machine fucking knocking all this shit out for him?
That's all weld, bro. That's no laser. That's just all welds. It's just panels being slipped into place. Those are henchmen who are immaculate welders and shit who are doing all that fucking design. That was all by hand.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's an extra expense. But he finally gets past it, right? He destroys the gear that collapses, and it collapses down. All right. And apparently there's multiple of these in the layer, because we find out there's a bigger one, because that's the big third act for Two-Face is. And so the only reason Robin gets captured is because he's beaten the dog shit out of Two-Face, right? Yeah. And he gets the upper hand and kicks him off the platform, and he's going to fall to his death. Yep. But Robin saves him because Bruce tells him, look, I've gone down that path, and then you start seeing everyone as that person. So you shouldn't do. As someone who's been down that road, let me tell you, don't do it, because that's all he wants. He wants to kill Two-Face. And Two-Face takes advantage of it and captures him. Yep. And now Batman's left with two decisions: save Nicole Kidman or save Robin. Yeah. Before that, though, we get Super Saiyan Riddler in this white one-piece suit with, it looks like diamonds. Yes. Everything is diamonds, and it's got green question marks all over, inlaid. His hair is spiked up, orange as fuck. His cane is a question mark with a skull in it. Yes. And this is like Super Saiyan 3 Riddler. Like, this is like ultimate fucking Riddler. And you weren't prepared for it. And there's a scene where he's monologuing, and he basically goes, so I can become a god.
Holy fuck. fuck?
Dude, his voice drops a whole octave, and it's just all bass. Oh yeah. Yeah. And I remember your face like, what the fuck is this movie?
Yeah, because you get like that death rattle, that
Yeah.
and it's like I can do it good right now because my throat's a little fucked up, so I can like reach that low register of like, God.
And what does Batman do? He solves it with throwing something.
Yep.
He turns, he's got these sonar eyes, and he asks Joker, not Joker, hey Riddler, I got a riddle for you. He's like, well, of course, I know all. And he tells him basically a riddle for a bat. Well, a bat, moron. And he's like, correct. And he throws like this cool batarang that folds. That's another thing I appreciate about the older movies is the fucking bat shit. Like,
literally, the bat
shit. And he throws it, and it turns out this giant thing in the center is connecting his mind to everyone, and Batman destroys it, and it fucks him up.
Yep.
But he presses the button on the skull on his cane, which his canes are fucking fantastic. And Robin and I want to say Kim Basinger, but it's Nicole Kidman, but both free fall, and she's not even really tied up. She's like in a dog leash. Do you remember that? She's in like a gold dog leash. And this is like, you stupid bitch. Anyway, they go free falling. He does the Spider-Man, just free fall down, saves both of them at the same time. No broken necks.
Nope, no broken necks.
Yep, because he's older. Peter Parker is young and dumb. And he saves them both, but guess who somehow just poofed into place?
Fucking Riddler.
The fucking Two-Face.
Oh yeah, no, it was Two-Face. Yeah, he just shows the fuck up.
He's like, he's got him down. He's like, Harvey, aren't you going to flip a coin? And he's like, oh man, you're right, I got to. And he takes a coin out, and Batman keeps some fucking change on him for some reason. And like, he throws that coin, and he chucks all of them coins in the air, and it fucks Two-Face up, and he loses balance and dies, just like the Grayson family who lost balance and died. And Robin just looks on in horror, just like, oh my God, he got killed by accident. Like,
I didn't have to do it.
I didn't do a damn thing. Batman did it. Batman killed him. Batman killed him.
That has to be the dumbest villain death in any like superhero movie.
It's up there.
Gets confused by a bunch of coins and falls backwards.
Yep, that's dirty. Did him dirty. But they get out of the tunnel and they try to find the Riddler. Keeps wanting to say Joker. He would have been a great Joker too.
He would have.
Very maniacal.
Would have been a great Carnage as well.
Yeah.
Right? You started really thinking about that, and you're like, damn, he would have been a good Cletus Cassidy.
Yeah. Just mainly just Cletus Cassidy. He did have to get Carnage to like the very end.
Yeah.
But we see what's left of the Riddler and what he looks like. He looks like a monster.
Yes.
The way the makeup is done, the way he contorts his face,
all bubbly.
He's able to move his jaw like almost parallel right to like his shoulder, and like he can still talk. So many questions. It's so many questions, and like he's rambling because he's finally lost it.
Yeah.
And Batman gets kind of close to him, and we see this giant flapping bat that he's seeing, and he starts screaming. And it's like, what did you do? Like, what would have been cool if he like would have sprayed him in the face with like a little bit of gas? I got this from so and so. Name drop the real Scarecrow. And like, oh my God, that would have been cool.
Well, that was a callback because that's what they mainly saw in Bruce's mind cam.
Was a giant bat, and what he's focusing on is Bruce Wayne, and so. It is kind of terrifying when he's walking up on him, and it's just like he's fucking curled up. His fingers are all like just really curled up real bad, and he's freaking the fuck out.
And that's how they end the movie.
They go. The last scene is in Arkham, and what we see is Dr. Burton, who is Tim Burton. Dr. Chase Meridian, Nicole Kidman, goes to check on the Riddler, and he's like, he says he knows who the Batman is, and she gets real close to him. And he's in a straitjacket that he's torn open.
Yeah.
I'm the Batman. He starts flapping his fucking arms, and I'm just like, that's a cool ending. Because you've destroyed this man. You killed Tommy Lee Jones, he's the other guy who knows, but you destroyed this man. And like the cool ending of the red light coming out and them both running toward us in the screen.
That was the joke I kept saying too. It was like, so many times in this movie I keep hearing the X-Men theme.
But no, it just ends with them running toward the screen and kind of sets up like, oh, okay, Batman and Robin would be the next movie.
And what I felt that was an immediate pull was from the original Batman, because there was that intro scene of the both of them
like a cartoon, and then it turns into real.
No, it's the cartoon show I'm thinking of. It starts with them just kind of running toward that screen. It's got like the yellow background. Mm-hmm. I think it was the Batman and Friends cartoon or something like that.
Because they did that with the live action show too. For like a few the intros. But like it was just Batman's Adam West, and then his face turns into a cartoon, and it's the bat symbol.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah. It was like later on. Like I think they did it for the movie.
Okay.
The Adam West movie Batman, where it's like Joker, Penguin, and Catwoman, and Riddler.
That may have been what I'm thinking of.
But yeah, it was a cool ending. I thought it was just like, they showed Arkham at the very end, which is very elaborate. Which in the next movie, the next one we'll review, is a big placeholder in the movie, because we see a lot of Arkham in there.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, and actually,
10 out of 10.
I would say more 4 out of 10, but enjoyment factor, 10 out of 10. But the scene we did not talk about, Kung Fu laundry.
Oh, yeah. Some things we did miss. Robin uses Kung Fu
to dry his clothes.
Even though there's a dryer in there. Kind of pissing off Alfred a little bit, because the floor gets wet, and he just like kicks a mop up and just barely goes over the floor with it.
Yeah, he just kind of like glides it across the floor
and like finger guns Alfred on the way out the door. Like you fucking prick.
And I'm sitting here going, I'm like, and they had like the most like badass like kind of music going in the background.
Another one, another scene we didn't talk about is Batman's late night Tinder hookup.
Oh gosh, on the rooftop.
He meets her on the rooftop, and she's not wearing barely anything.
No.
And he gets this shit-eating grin with the bat mask on.
And it's that meme photo.
It's so fucking weird.
It is.
And those are
just a great movie.
Those are just great movie all around. It's boiling acid.
A great movie and a great episode right over here on the Couch Bro-tatoes. I don't think there's really anything else to really cover in that movie, and we will try again with the commentaries. We will try a commentary for Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin. So yeah, hopefully that one will come out. So apologies again for there not being the actual commentary as we promised in the episode, but hey, tech issues are a bitch, huh?
Yeah, I guess.
But if you have any recommendations for other movie commentaries or stuff that we should run down, leave a comment in the Discord. Link is in the episode description, along with a place for you to get your merch. So grab you a couple t-shirts or a pint glass, anything that you like on that. And for this episode of the Couch Bro-tatoes, I've been Alex and Chris. Do you have any sort of final thoughts for us?
If I was to redo it, I would just redo the good part, and then his response is, "I'm Batman," and throw it. No riddle, no nothing, no just
You've been listening to the Something Good Network. If you liked what you heard, you can follow us on Instagram and check out the other great shows on the network. Link is in the episode description.